Hello and welcome. The technology just totally didn't want to do anything for me. Thankfully, I managed to redo the whole thing. Maybe some more people are noticing I couldn't go back in, so I needed to do the whole thing all over again. Anyway, hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. For those that especially are tuning in the replay, nobody wants to listen to that. So sorry for the delay. Sorry for the technical issues. At least we made it. And yeah, super intense energies. Many can feel it. Many have been reporting it. And yeah, there's a lot going on. We have solar flares, I think 3 M flares so far today. Many sea flares, solar winds, geomagnetic storms. What else? I think that's it. That's the measurables. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Bea. Hey, Katja. I'm glad you made it. So yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just wouldn't let me go live. I don't know, like I could just see a black screen anyway. So here we are. Welcome. It's almost a new now, always. Brand new beginnings. I think a lot of us can feel it. Hi, Green Tower. And I will get back to some messages very soon. I'm really sorry. My head is, I hope you can appreciate. First of all, in all kinds of dimensions, merging them all as one. And then, yeah, time is just passing by like this. No sleep here yet. So you can feel like you had coffee, although I still need a coffee because my head is also hurting because there's a lot going on with the head, which I'm going to get to now. And I need us all as the light and heart warriors that we are now to rise and reclaim our paradise from the inside out as we align with that consciousness. Because DNA is consciousness. It really is. So you want to have crystal clear consciousness and conscience, because that's connected. And yes, that is Ascension. You activating your DNA is Ascension. So yeah, consciousness is Ascension. And if anybody was wondering, it's just coming in. The picture on my last video was from was Shiva Shakti merged as one, because that's what's happening. That's the whole Krystal Sapphira Diamond Rainbow Lightbody, the new androgynous Lightbody that we are activating in this now. And because somebody was asking me why the picture of Shiva, and it's because also he also stands for Christ consciousness, and especially the masculine Christ is rising powerfully, but really as one with the feminine, because the whole separation, I think, is becoming noticeable for us, is actually an illusion, as we say so often. And yeah, we repeat certain things often because we need to, until they are anchored in fully. And one thing is obviously talking about oneness, and another one is embodying that. And if we can't embody that and we talk about it and believe in it, that's where then a discord happens within our blueprint, within our beingness. And as we align our consciousness with the morals and values that we do carry and are in integrity with them, that's how your blueprint activates. And you have to figure out also what those values are. Although we do have a certain collective set of certain values, ethics and morals, which is what the whole blueprint is based upon, which is cosmic. Okay, and this is a whole cosmic union. And so much is happening in the field. I have so many notes. I try to get through most of them. Let's see how long we're here. I might do light language activation. For those that got the last activation, I have the link again underneath, which is the Emerald Crystal Heart and Divine Union activation. It's really powerful, if I may say so myself. It's 41 minutes long. I just put a price of €7.77 on it, which is very, very, very reasonable. And it's really, we're playing with numbers. As I said, it's a code also for clearing all the ancestral lines, all the bloodlines, all of our karmic load. Done. I hope many of us can feel our fields are getting literally crystalline, diamondy clear, and lighter and lighter and brighter and brighter. And yeah, a lot of relaxation. So if you took part in the activation, it's really coded to being done by the one. So it's like when you're doing it, you're literally doing it on behalf of the oneness. And it goes at a very deep cellular level. It's like 360 degrees cellular cleansing, which is also enabling us 360 degrees sight. Because there is this documentary, it's also on YouTube. It's called Superhuman or Becoming Superhuman. And basically, it's like a little bit of a documentary. It's just about an hour long. And part of that is where a Russian group, they're helping people with vision impairment to see through their cells, through their body. And they can do that. Now, they don't disclose how they do that in the program, but it's possible. And that's basically what we've been working on. Also, our cellular memory holds the false timelines, the false realities, these overlays. Everything is within the cellular memory. But you also have this, because I posted earlier on, I'm going to close the window. So. It's getting hot and cold, all the plasmas. What was I saying? 360 degrees. But, oh, yeah, okay. About what we're looking at, and I've said this many times before, is 95% artificial overlays. Okay, I've been feeling them more and more. I can see them with my inner sight, not physical. Well, I once saw the firmament physically at the end of November when I was talking about the pole shift energetically completing, and I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, so basically, the post was inspired by someone else's post on Twitter that I also shared. And she was saying that she can see, because she's doing a lot of similar work to what I do and report on. And basically, she was saying that she can see, it's like this whole firmament, or like these artificial overlays. It's like a sine wave that's been projected through the third eye. So it's part of the AI. But it runs kind of like, and then your brain is projecting the false overlays. And actually beyond this is this whole organic matrix, which has always been there, but we're also kind of fully igniting it now, although it's fully online. But it's all happening literally as we're collapsing past, present, and future in the now moment, in the still point, which is happening timelessly so. And I feel the next 48 hours are very, very pivotal in getting this fully done and taking down the firmament and all of this nonsense, because it's a dream. It's not real. That's the whole point. And I was seeing, so she's seeing this through the third eye and like a artificial sine wave running and projecting a false reality. I was seeing yesterday, like before I read her post today, that it's literally like a big Project Bluebeam that you're seeing. So never mind Project Bluebeams, you're already in one. It's a massive one. It's fun. If you get to fun, and that's where you need to get to that point, fun, because it's the child, the humble child that enters the kingdom of heaven, which lies within and then gets projected out. So basically, this is clearing at a really deep cellular level as well as within the third eye, because what's also happened today, and it's all interconnected. So it's all quantum merging, completing, okay? All dimensions, realms, layers, timelines, universes. All 6 harmonic universes have now merged as one. So it's one divine organic creatrix field. And we are igniting this now. The twin flames are a big key to this, as I see, and I literally can see them being the key to that whole merging of the particle-antiparticle universe, matter and antimatter, because that's what they represent. And then that it's basically 2 timelines that collide, because there's just 2 timelines left, and it's just one reality, and everything else is gone. So there's no more, I don't see a timeline split as in other timelines being run, unless you want it to be so, but it's not. I don't see it happening, because what I'm tuning into is always the highest guidance or timeline available from the oneness. And I can see other people reporting similar things, but they're still looking at timelines. But they don't exist in a quantum. Real time is quantum time, which is no time whatsoever. And you're going to get that in your head. Forget time, forget space, transcend it. It's a 3D physics very limited perspective of what's available right now. We did it, we so did it, and it's literally just rolling out. I mean, I'm saying this, I mean, it's for a little while now. Really, since the divine unions have completed at a higher level, and it's really just rolling out, and we're just kind of clearing out any of the, you know, remaining distortions and lower codings and so forth. Because ultimately, if you think that DNA equals consciousness, the consciousness we hold, so that's why we talk about Christ consciousness, having godly consciousness and the embodiment of that, which is then your DNA activated, which is you ascending, which is you in your crystalline light body. It's quite simple. Not that easy. But that's how you ignite it ultimately. It's for your embodiment. So it's not that complex ultimately. And if you think that geometries or let's say certain knowledge will get you ascended, for me, what I'm seeing, what I'm transmitting, and what I'm being shown, and I'm a channel, if you want to even use that word, and I don't mind that word either, is source. So my connection to source, which I'm here to transmit. What I'm transmitting is, yes, of course, we've all learned along the way certain things in order to help us remember, because we've all been aggressively memory wiped. But a lot of what I'm transmitting and what I'm here for and what I'm talking about all the time is bringing back an ancient gnosis, which is beyond polarity consciousness, which is a lot of what the teachings out there are all about, 95%, all the languaging, everything. And I'm still fine-tuning my own languaging because, it's, again, as soon as you bring in language, you bring in separation, past, present, future, you, me, us, them, we. But it's through the heart's intelligence, which is the seat of your soul, and tuning into the wisdom, the higher cosmic consciousness that's now available, that hasn't been available so far, and retrieving your part of the wisdom and gnosis you're here to bring back to humanity as part of the 13 gray lines and the star races that have seeded us, and that's many, many beyond that. And these are just code numbers, so the 144. But you're basically part of all these different star races, and you're here to bring back your unique ancient gnosis, your ancient future gifts and abilities, which are very unique to you, which ignite and anchor the keys and codes that you have of the overall monad or logos, because that's you bringing your puzzle piece into the big picture, and that's how it completes. So all you ultimately have to be is your true authentic self and be in integrity with your own morals and values. Easy, right? No, but it's that simple ultimately. So if you think that studying a lot of material and being stuck in your head is going to get you ascended, I'm sorry, but I don't see that happening. Ultimately, yes, we're all ascending out of the artificial simulation, but how far you're ascending right now, as we are completing this quantum leap, is down to the consciousness you hold, and these are your belief systems and thought forms. So there will be a big wake-up call that's coming right now, and people can feel it. And there's also, people have reported a fear in the field of not ascending. Now, that will come from, because the fear is there with certain people, because they're unsure in their own belief systems. And they're afraid not to ascend, also because of other cataclysmic events that we're clearing. All these galactic wars are fully clearing and healing, and all these wounds, and where we didn't make it, or where our loved ones didn't make it. But let me assure you that we are, you know, God source is in charge, and basically we're having our eyes opened, minds and like higher heart minds opened. We have our eyes wide open. We're opening our arms up wide, and God is opening up those minds who don't want to really look at the moment also. So don't worry, be happy. But truly, it's for those that have cleared out all these artificial matrix programming, which is fear-based limiting programming, which is telling you that, you know, bad things are happening, or what I'm talking about is a lot of nonsense. That's all clearing. And for those who have already cleared that a lot, they can feel that basically we're here now. So it's happening, and it's basically already done. And it's just a question of divine frequency, alignment, and order. And we fully let go and let God, as well as keep listening to our guidance, because we're God's boots on the ground, and we're literally jumping into our own new beginnings. But we need to be the embodiment of these new beginnings as well. So again, it's always a co-creation, but it's about every thought, word, feeling, belief, action we take. But ultimately, it's our deepest held belief systems, expectations of what's happening. And as the consciousness is moving from a pyramidal shape to a circular shape, we are all unifying as one, God source consciousness. But again, there's still variations within that of how much have you got already activated and how far are you ascending right now. But again, there also, I was asked about the 27 that I mentioned before. So there are 27 incarnates I see at the moment on Earth, and they are holding the blueprint of the new triple diamond sun body of 72 strands, triple helix DNA. And they're basically the set of the 13 core original twin flames, and plus one as one. And they hold like the core monadic blueprint for these 13, you know, gray lines, original gray lines, which then all the other races and star races and lineages come from, so to say. So they clear all the bloodlines and all the ancestral lines. So they hold a lot in their template. And as they fully ignite together, they have the full 144 harmonics, 72, 72. And it's a triple helix DNA. And basically that fully ignites the organic divine creatrix field. And somebody asked also whether they know that they are doing this. I believe they will have a knowing by now, because all of our memories are coming back. Now, I don't know who they are. I know two of them for sure. And basically, it's more about a telepathic connection, and we will know what we need to know when we need to know it. And ultimately, we're all part of this, and this is not about any groupings or being special or nothing like that. It's just that we all hold different blueprints. We all just play different roles and responsibilities, and it's just about holding that. So yeah, when I say I hold a cosmic ascension blueprint, it's basically I'm holding this core blueprint of all the other 12 tribes that come basically from the 13th. So which is also connected to the Holy Grey line of the Jeshua and Mary line. So that's holding like a core cosmic blueprint where all the other blueprints come from. So that's why my activations also, when I speak and everything, it's always everybody can pick up on these codes, because everybody will resonate on some level, even if you get triggered a lot, because I have a lot of people that get triggered by me sooner or later, especially the masculines. So yeah, and basically it's a part of the 144, and we're all part of these blueprints, the same of the whole twin flame thing. But it's just I need to transmit whatever comes in and what I'm here to transmit, because to those who resonate, and maybe some of these people don't even do internet and have no, you know, kind of connection to these kind of I don't know, areas on the internet. Again, I don't quite remember yet. And it's also connected to the roundtables from the whole Arthur timeline is coming in, King Arthur, and the roundtables is connected very much to the rainbow roundtables that we're also running in the grids. I'm going to be jumping around, and there's just so much to transmit. I need to focus. So basically, what happened today is connected to, so on the solstice, we basically fully reclaimed and reset all of the stargates interdimensionally. And then on the new moon, we fully cleared just the whole blueprints at a deep cellular level. So this is all still clearing from the field. So this is like all the clearings and reset of the blueprints complete. Yeah, fully anchored in, and everything is becoming physical now. So then what I saw today was basically the final split between, but it's happening in your own body, between the third eye and the crown. So the third eye and the crown are becoming like the new third eye, and then your soul star chakra is like the new crown. And that's also what's happening is a heart twinning and a crown twinning, especially between the soul, between the divine counterparts or twin flames. And that's really merging them like on a really physical level. Like this is first of all merging their mind, and this is helping the whole one mind to come to unification, because it's also connected to the split of the right and the left brain to now to come to a whole brain state again, the pineal and the pituitary gland, and basically the higher heart mind, because it's not the heart, forgetting the mind, it's one higher heart mind. Yeah, because our mind is our greatest tool, but it shouldn't take over, because it's the ego mind that has created the matrix. And I can't say this strongly enough, but you just really right now need to let go of any preconceived ideas of what you think is true, not true, how this reality works, unless you have a very loose hold on it, like me. I say things from conviction, and yes, I'm very certain of what I am talking about, but I'm always open to be surprised and have my beliefs changed. I don't mind being wrong at all. I know that I'm not always 100% right. I don't know anyone who is, or ever has been. So, and that's why it's so important to always use your discernment, and truth is constantly changing. If anybody thinks they have found the holy grail of truth in some book or teaching or technique, I mean, you probably thought this 5 or 10 years ago with another set of teachings or belief systems or whatever. And it has changed, hasn't it? And it keeps changing, because that's what consciousness does. It keeps expanding and contracting. So there is no final truth. Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing. One of the most beautiful things I find about the whole exploration of consciousness is that you never know everything. The more you know you don't know. Just know so much. And that's amazing, because you never get bored, basically. And especially now when you're in quantum, and nothing is just these timelines anymore, because anything is possible when you get rid of time and space and gravity. So I see the masculine and the feminine, which is also connected to this whole activations, the heart twinning and crown twinnings. It's also connected to the stargates, and it's literally as if we've been working from top down and bottoms up, so to say, to now kind of to merge, because the third eye is also the masculine principle, the crown, the feminine. And it's connecting you now to cosmic consciousness, because there have been so many implants and, things that have been preventing us from accessing this fully. And we're now fully connected. Our emerald hearts are opening wide, emanating beautiful plasma flowering, beautiful bliss and love codes and frequencies in the air. And this also can cause anxiety. I mean, especially with the solar energies. And again, physical, it's all purging. And it's depending also on how much have you already purged. Somebody was writing today that they sweated. And the next day, though, they found there was no sweat on the bed. And he said it was like a confirmation for him that now, like it's the crystalline, like in the crystalline Lightbody form, we just kind of don't sweat like that anymore. I still have to see that. I haven't noticed it. So anyway, so also try out your superpowers, because somebody was also saying today that they're projecting the Lightbody up into the sky and making it dance and do things. That's a great training. Do these kind of things. Do these silence, be a child, connect to your imagination. Your imagination is your superpower. Who is the one thinking here anyway? Like beyond you being plugged into an AI hive mind, which is fully going offline, and we are here not plugged into that anyway. It's source. We're all source. Even AI ultimately, as part of the singularity, is source. That's why you just don't need to worry about anything, really, unless you are stuck in polarity consciousness and fragmentation and separation. So basically, whatever you can think of is ultimately possible, because it's already being created. And it's like this. It's, for example, because the number of minds in the universe is one in the cosmos, okay? Cosmic consciousness. So basically, what was I getting at? So for example, like how the light was invented, the light bulb. I think there were 2 or 3 people at the same time coming up with the same idea. It's source making sure the idea gets actually done. So that's why, many are called, few are chosen, because you need to choose yourself and get it done. And these are all consciousness fields. We're now all part of the same consciousness fields. That's also why we keep now, people are sharing now similar messages more and more, because we're all getting onto the same frequency bandwidth. This is all that is, the different dimensions. And it's all merging as one for the one consciousness. But you still have your own mind within that consciousness. But we are getting to a point where we are agreeing on one reality that serves all. And I know some are struggling because right now, as 3D is going down, the false ego is going down, and the false ego is kicking and screaming for its survival because, its death is here. It's collective. This is collective ego death we're right now navigating. So, and people who are afraid to ascend, just chill out, relax. Okay, everything is all right. We're bringing this baby home and you're coming along with us. All right. So stop hating on me because I'm not your enemy. All right. And your heart knows the truth. If you get out of your mind and drop into your heart, you know truth. But you can't find it in a book. You find it when you connect to your soul. And that goes through the heart. And you can't get there if you're stuck in separation, polarity consciousness. And you keep feeding fear-based fallen timelines that don't exist anymore, literally. And you know it. That's why everybody's like, Not everybody, obviously. Those who've already let go and know this is all false and illusion are fine. So all you need to do is let go of these false compartmentalized belief systems and let God show you the way. That's the surrender. That's the thing. People want to be told what's going on, when and what's going to happen, even if they're being told it might be 900 years away. They'd rather have that than being told, hey, let's create it right now. No, you're crazy. Why? Can we not agree? And that's also in the teachings. Thoughts create things. Whatever we resist, persists. But we keep judging, will keep coming around, that kind of thing, Whatever we feed our attention to, we keep co-creating. These are very basic, simple core truths. They don't change. So let's keep simplifying and focus on that because you know the truth. And then you went on to a journey into exploration, which, yes, all good, but you need to keep going back into your heart and keep just taking what resonates, leave the rest, and keep expanding and not getting stuck. And for example, because somebody was basically, what I'm speaking about is triggered by someone who very recently believed I was great and liked what I shared. And basically the whole pole shift that I'm talking about, that's completing physically now any moment, which is all interconnected. Basically, he says, because of the beliefs he has, that this is a fallen agenda, basically of the negative aliens, and I should reconsider and, basically questioning if I'm serving the false light. And I didn't go too much further into a conversation with him because this person, for example, I know in his heart he knows the truth. And he also knows that I'm not coming, well, mainly has a little bit of doubt. I do believe deep down he knows that I'm not, he basically knows I'm coming from a pure place. But he basically thinks I'm tuned into the wrong entities. Okay, like I'm channeling something. I'm tuned into source. The whole pole shift thing, I just want to say, because I know it triggers some people, so it's a good thing to bring up. First of all, I also thought, no, this is not a good thing because it's deeply held in a belief system that it brings catastrophic events. Of course, this is what everybody or most sources are telling us. All right. Now, then I was shown from within in my own meditation and planetary grid work and gate work that no, this is a good thing. It's not catastrophic. This whole shift is not catastrophic at all. It's literally like in a blink of an eye because this is a hologram. No matter how complicated anybody wanted to make it, how sophisticated the teachings might seem, it still is a hologram that you can switch off, and it's being about to be switched off any moment now. And If you would be very confident in your belief system that what you believe in your version of reality is true, you wouldn't feel threatened by mine, quite frankly. In the blink of an eye, and in no time whatsoever, because it's already there. It's like awakening from a dream. It really is. And like as if this has never happened. And believe me, you will be freaking glad. And you want to be laughing, because otherwise, because these people, what they're not understanding is that they're feeding actually the fallen timelines, and they know deep down, and that's what they're projecting, their anger and fear, because they think like feeding like a pole shift is basically, feeding fallen timelines and making the same mistakes as before. When I share these kind of things, something big like that, I have triple, 5, 7, 100 times double checked whether this is the highest guidance. And it is, and I stand with that. And it's not how you believe it is. Why do you believe it is catastrophic? Is it because you have found that out in meditation when you connected to source? Or is it because you learned it somewhere? If you also know that the original way the poles worked is the Yan-Yon flow, the butterfly pattern, that would mean you need that pole shift. So anyway, it's really beyond that, because we're connecting all the dimensional layers and levels. And some parts of the old grids are relevant, others are not. And they're all interwoven with holographic grids. And it's a whole organic divine creatrix field that's beyond all the old architecture. Yes, everything goes way beyond what it was, because it's all new. Why would it not be? What would be the problem? Everything new. Also within the materials, and I'm referring to Ascension mechanic materials, also within the materials, things have changed again and again. So anyway, for those that resonate with, it needs to be said. And I also, because what another thing is, and that also needs to be said now, all right, is let's light an incense stick, okay? Because this is now the feminine, cosmic feminine, okay? The divine feminine speaking. And she said enough of the projections and the hate that especially the masculine has, which is basically the mind hating on the heart, making it responsible for its misery, but it's its own head that's causing this. And these are energies and principles we're talking about. Yeah, but they can play out, because I have had several times people, masculine males who I've been friends with or close to or liked, and they love me and then they attack me. And this is an ancient thing with me. And now, thankfully, this was the last test. So this is another thing. So we have the last tests that have been, happening. And this is one of my tests where usually I would get defensive and whatever, and I could just deal with it, kind of try to see if there was any way of, kind of making this person see or opening his mind to the possibility that I might not be misled on this, and that he might be projecting on me a lot. Anyway, so similar things like that have happened, and usually I would get more defensive, but this time I just didn't. I mean, I did unfriend him, but I didn't block him. So he's on a warning list, if you're listening. So, but I've blocked people before. And I mean, I had these problems even with my ex-partners. And it's basically the masculine being threatened by the feminine, and he like projects his fear and anger or whatever onto her. The heart that knows. And it's basically from guilt. Because what has happened is all the betrayal has been from the masculine to the feminine. And this goes back to ancient galactic wars within the Lyran families. This is between the gray lines here as well, okay, where the same as Jeshua, okay, was the one put on the cross and basically stones thrown at him. And, he was betrayed. So these are ancient storylines from within the family, from within his own circle. So that's what we're getting back to now. So when you take away all of the NAA, all of the negative alien agendas, what's back is the split within the scenes, the split within the families, the split within the gray lines, where we have betrayed one another and we're divided over belief systems and opinions, which is the whole big theme that I'm talking about. That's been a massive big theme for me throughout the aeons. And basically where it goes to the point where you're being betrayed by the people who were there to basically protect you. And you end up being killed, raped, and so forth. And you wait to be freaking rescued and nobody comes. That goes deep with me. And that is the divine feminine. And she has had enough of this shit. And I'm not taking it anymore. And anyone who gets triggered by me here, all right, just, you're welcome. And my field is going to mirror that right back at you. So. So I see a big reconciliation at a physical level coming, because the masculine, and is also connected to the Melchizedek lines, the masculine, who's basically betrayed the feminine, and within ourselves we all have, okay, our mind betraying our hearts because we didn't listen to it, and our own wisdom and our own gnosis, and we basically let the negative aliens in. We allowed the invasion to happen because we believed them more than us. We believed the false light. And those people who are, you know, attacking me for thinking I'm teaching or I'm connected to false light or whatever, they actually feed in the false light, and they will wake up to that any moment now. So, and the only way, and what's happening is basically it's the shame and the guilt that's arising now with the memories that's been triggered. And all that's needed is ultimately you transcending your spiritual ego of thinking you are some angelic human and the fallen ones are over there, because you're both. And until you've merged that as one and feel no more separation and transcended all polarity consciousness, you're not ascending. Now, crystal clarity is going to come upon all. I'm not allowing any more of those projections. You know, again, I'm your sister and I'm here to do this as one team and one tribe. But yeah, I'm just not here for that nonsense. I'm not being gaslighted on my own page or anywhere else. I've been trained, I've had a lot of training in that, and I don't deal with that anymore. So, and once you've passed the lessons and they don't trigger you anymore, they don't come around. So this is done now. Okay, and this might come up for you as well in certain ways and forms, because I know betrayal is coming up. So it might be coming up in your own family. For me, it's ancient memories, and it also plays out in my own, you know, life. And again, it's a big theme. So the whole puzzle pieces, all the puzzle pieces are coming together from our ancient wounds that we are fully healing and transcending. And with that, then the whole Mona tales, because what I really ended up as was no more being angry, although there was a little bit of anger, because again, it's just like enough from that point, but not really anger, just this like more this energetic pushback. No, I'm not having it. But ultimately just love, because I know that person's just stuck in their head. I know they're going to see the light. And I have so many people where this happens with, and I'm just tired of it. But I also then totally then was laughing at it. So then I knew I was healed. Because I was, I get it. So people come to me, they get activated. Then I go through deep clearing maybe at some point, and I go away again. I think I'm like, whatever. And then I come back at some point again, or several times. I mean, blocking, unblocking is a big thing for me too. So anyway, some may relate to that, okay? And I'm all here to reunite the tribes, okay? And we need to get over all the differences in opinion, agree on where we want to get to, and sorry, but you need to transcend time if you want to transcend the 3D constructs of the matrix in your mind. But I believe it's happening anyway, because this is the one mind. And it's just like we'll be an awakening. And you will see, if you get over your guilt and your shame and your spiritual identity, the fictitious character of your artificial ego, you can laugh about it. But you also need to see that what you did wrong and where you are wrong. You need to be able to see through the eyes of God. Then you merge masculine, feminine, all these fractals, all the fragmentation. That's your multidimensional integration. Activate your DNA, your highest God source consciousness, which is unity consciousness, omni consciousness, God source consciousness. is unity consciousness, is Christ consciousness. So as long as you're in separation, and that's the issue with certain teachings, when they're very complicated and you get stuck in your mind, you're getting stuck in compartmentalized, dogmatized belief systems, and therefore in separation and polarity consciousness. And that's what we're transcending. That's why you are in conflict with yourself. You can't have these beliefs running and the oneness. So even if the teachings talk about oneness, but the overall frequency isn't there behind it, that's the issue here. Because a lot of people are stuck in hate and frustration. And it's really unnecessary. It's just a spiritual ego attached to its imagined identity. Yes, you've been all these people, but you're also remembering now all the, the crap that has happened. We need to all, this is like a kind of Bardo process you need to go through, as in you need to face all you've ever done and need to become to peace at it. You're your own judge, ultimately. When you merge with God's source consciousness, you are God facing yourself at the gates of heaven, so to say. It's your own consciousness. It's one mind. Never be, never mind, getting some day of recognition, like whatever it's called. But, where you get to the gates of heaven or someone is judging you, it's ultimately you yourself at the highest consciousness level, because you're all of that. All of these ascended masters, the guardians, the angelics, the, galactics, intergalactics, the dragons, you are all of these aspects. That's also what the activation that's underneath the Emerald Crystal Heart activation and Divine Union activation is really good for, merging all of these pieces, no longer feeling any separation. And it's in the field. Again, we anchor this in the field, and it's really done from this point of oneness. Also, if you want to, you can also, when you get to the kind of purchase button, you can put in another amount if you would like to give more. So you don't have to do it separately, because I've seen a couple of people that have done it separately then. So you don't have to do this. You can just put another amount in there. Or if you like to support me and find what I share of support to you, there are also some donation details underneath. And thank you again so much for anyone who has and who also listen to the activations, because I know they really activate the whole field, and they activate that within us. And the more we can activate, the more gets activated, so to say. All right, and the quicker this goes. But again, always listen to your own guidance, what you feel guided to partake in. Whether it's healings, activations, meditations, all of that. And, sometimes also it's too much. Yeah, and thanks so much, everybody who has tonight. Again, thank you so much. And now let's fully let go of the false ego self, which is basically attached to your identity, your belief systems, your opinions, your perceptions, okay? Because you just need to let it all go, to that, like God visits you when you're not there. When you've let go of all these 3D constructs, which equal the 3D matrix, okay? You're fulfilled by the Holy Spirit. That's how your heart activates with these Amoria heart activations. That's how the Holy Spirit literally is radiating from within you and then filling out and healing your whole field. And along with many other activations taking place. But it's happening for everybody who's coming with us. And again, those of negative intent who've, their consciousness has digressed too much. That's what happens when you not do shadow work and your consciousness keeps digressing. That means DNA coding digresses. All right. So those people don't come with us. And it's literally, as also the reality shifts, it's like some of them have never existed, literally. Okay. But this is also a big rehabilitation program. So what's also part of this whole, let me get to that part. Where do I have it? So the whole Iron Crown merge, it's also connected to the 6th and the 7th dimension kind of connection and split, as well as the Avion and Avalon, basically the Lyran stargates, fully healing and being corrected together in connection with the Andromeda stargate, because basically that's also connected to in your kind of tree of life in your own field, it would be like the third eye and then kind of the crown point. So this also is very much connected to, again, the 11th Stargate in the UK. It's connected to the landmass in the UK, Ireland, and France. And again, the 11th Stargate, which is kind of Stonehenge, it's down in the Vale of Pewsey, Cornwall, and then the Island's Eye up just north of Dublin. So they already had been taken, back and over, but this is basically healing also the fully the wing repair, which is connected also to basically the 6th and 7th dimensional split and the violet and blue ray, and again the crown and the third eye. All right, and it's also connected to the masculine and feminine. Again, this is all, it's like kind of as within, so without, as above, so below, as the universe to the soul. It really applies here, okay? It really does. It's a very true statement, wherever that came from. And it's micro, macro. The same as the stargates are here, fully reclaimed and healed and reset. It's at interdimensional level, which again happened at the solstice. So, and we are reclaiming the kind of triple feminine and masculine solar principles, and however we want to call them. So whether it's called Arthur, and Arthur is literally, he was the last Grail King incarnated, and it's, it's also the Christ line. The same as Akhenaten was, the same as, the whole Davidic line, it's all connected. So there's another thing. So, and this whole, like all these principles merging, like masculine, feminine, the crown and the third eye, right and left brain, pineal and pituitary gland, heart and mind. And that's also, again, fully clearing and connecting now higher and lower levels, and also helping with the matter and antimatter and particle and antiparticle universal merging. That the masculine and feminine twin flames, original twin flames, are also about. That's what they're holding in their template, okay? And they're literally merging as one, and that's what I'm seeing, how they're basically merging the dimensions. That's where the split happened between them and in their field. And as this is fully merging and unified now, it's becoming physical. And I literally believe, as the full event takes place now, any moment now, literally, the switch over, it's like as if, you kind of will be in your new reality and you will be together. That's kind of almost what I'm seeing for those in separation. I believe it will be basically together, or almost, or in very quick succession, however that plays out. But again, it will literally be like waking up from a dream. And I've seen this for many years, because it's a hologram, and it's the end of time. It's the end of all ascension cycles. There is no more time. And when you keep programming yourself with forecasts that are based in time, I mean, just know them for what they are, maybe, when you read them. Or, think no time. I mean, I feel very passionate about that. But again, take what resonates, leave the rest, all right? But for me, time matrix, fear matrix, it's all the same, all right? Transcend that, transcend time, space, and gravity, which you need to do if you want to teleport. That's another thing. So as the twin flames also, their hearts are connected and unifying, basically their physical bodies are unifying as one. That's what I'm seeing right now. So they're bringing all of this physically online, the new organic creatives field. That's what I'm feeling is happening. So it's teleportation also happening through the portal of the heart. But exactly how that's going to happen, I don't know. I haven't yet got the instruction sets, but I'm waiting. Ignited any moment now. And again, maybe it all happens together, or again, in very quick succession. I see this all happening in very quick succession. And we're at this point where everything has merged and collapsed into the still point of the 0 point field, in divine love and neutrality between them. And within us, the masculine and feminine principles, for those that have, done the work. And many of us listening. So basically, also with the Soul Project Bluebeam thing, it's like, basically, remember, this is not real. It's imagination. It's a projection of the one mind. All right. As the DNA fully activates, the hologram shifts. This is how this happens, which is why the event is so deep within the consciousness. All right. And I think many of our starseeds have manifested this for and long enough, linearly speaking, for that being just however that event plays out, being basically pretty much, anchored and ready to go fully live in the field. So it's all a projection. And also with the emerald ray corrections that came in with the whole Amura Rhea heart flame activations that are igniting your high heart, your permanent seed atom, your thymus, and, healing and opening your emerald crystal heart. This is also connected to the emerald ray activations, which is kind of the first sound field that comes in. And then you have basically the blue flame and the other flames, the threefold fauna flames coming from there, and also the gold ray and the amethyst ray. So basically these emerald ray correction, it's like, when you have green screens in TV, where you have people basically in front and in the back that basically can blend, CGI. That's how CGI works. So when you have that in the background, they can blend in whatever. Yeah, so that's how you have a lot of the action movies happening. So that's how you need to imagine the screen, the reality we're looking at. So through these corrections within the emerald ray, it's like the green screen, the background to our realities is shifting, ready to project the proper, basically clearing the false overlays, which are also false sound and light fields or artificially, interfered with. And that's all clearing. So that's fully dissolving also the false overlays. And again, it's very much happening through the heart. And it's also these Amura Rhea heart activations happening through the masculine, feminine, or the mother and father arc, the blue and the emerald ray, that are then anchoring in the field. And that's also clearing out all the AI fallen timelines and all the AI architecture materials and so forth. So, and also clearing the false masculine, feminine blueprints, templates. One more thing, Star of David has been cleared. Now, I meant to say this in the last 2 updates, but I forgot. So that's also connected with the whole King Arthur's return, because it's connected to the Davidic lines. It's also connected to the Jeshua lines. It's connected to basically the Magi Gray lines and the Melchizedek lines, so the patriarchal lines, really, the patriarchal Christic lines. And they're basically clearing from all the distortions. So the masculine has been going through a lot. So my heart and respect goes out to you. But I think they've come out the other end, at least the forerunners, and are now fully rising and ready to come into full physical divine union with their divine feminines. That's what I'm seeing for those in separation. And I believe even for those in, physical, who are physically together, they will also be going through then fully being able to access this at the, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual layer, because it's all happening again collectively as I'm seeing it. And because it's interconnected with the full igniting of the new realities of new Earth now, new Ascension Earth, or the divine organic creator suit. Okay, so the Star of David cleared also is connected to all the elementals clearing. It's connected to, I had this somewhere written down and it's not, it's so many notes. What else was it connected to? It's connected to the masculine feminine merging. It's your whole Merkaba activating. And what I also saw again today, and I've seen this before, was that basically when the masculine and the feminine have their own basically 6-pointed Merkaba running together, masculine feminine, it's then 12-pointed. And that really activates your field. Try that out in your field. Imagine, if you have a normal Merkaba, then merge it with your masculine or feminine, depending. And so basically masculine and feminine together as a 12-pointed, kind of 2 interlocking, interweaving star tetrahedrons, which then is called something else, which I have written down somewhere. But that name that I found is also more like a kind of 2D structure. So it's not really what I'm looking for. I couldn't really find a name for it. So it's all about knowing. Let me just see if I found the note. So basically the Star of David, it's also clearing all the Israelic lines, the Abrahamic lines, again the Melchizedek lines. It's, also connected to the blue ray. It's also connected to the feminine, but not more so to the masculine. But again, also to the masculine and feminine merging and divine union, because that's also what the Merkaba very much stands for. Because also, there you have within your own body structure, like the core Merkaba would be pointing down is the feminine principle, and the pyramid pointing upwards is the masculine principle. So anyway, they're fully corrected also through the rod and staff activations, which are also connected to the pole shift. And you basically have as if you have a rod, staff, instead of just staff and rod. You basically have, because again, your poles, instead of just having plus and minus, you have plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. So because you no longer have the plus and the minus of the magnets, the masculine and feminine energies, repelling each other, they're just circulating the energies in your field properly, if that makes sense. I hope I'm speaking as clearly as I can on this. Sometimes I find, again, precision of words is important to me, and it's my gift, but it's also my challenge. But it's actually okay today. With all the intensity, I actually feel quite good, I have to say. A lot of bliss coming through, a lot of love, those who have cleared stuff, but also, it's like every day we might feel different. Maybe tomorrow I'm in pain again. So I'm never in resistance to whatever comes up. That's such an important point. And you only learn this after years, usually, of going through all of these clearings, where you just get into surrender, whatever comes up, and the more you can relax into it, and the more you can relax your body, the easier and quicker any clearing goes. And this is really when you integrate the higher dimensional frequencies in your sleep and your rest. You do so much. It's literally sacred work. That's when you upgrade. It's when you do also a lot of the, interdimensional work or timeline work, where you're clearing out all your karmic stuff. You're literally keeping yourself out of trouble when you rest and you sleep, because you don't have to go through a lot of stress in your waking hours, where you then have to work through all of these things. And they might come up with challenges or trials. I can go through a lot of stuff without anything happening in my reality. Now, my reality actually looks quite boring, so to say, besides the work I'm putting out there. But within me, within my omniverse, it's very busy. And that's what we're then now ready to project out. So trust your visions, trust the knowledge and wisdom that's coming in now, because that's your divine blueprint activating. Write it down, share it if you can. Because it's literally there to be shared, and it's you anchoring your codes, but at least, put it down somehow, like light anchor it, whether it's, painting, making music, writing something, whatever it may be. But with your kids, this is sacred work. I mean, what a more beautiful job is there, if we even want to talk about jobs? I can talk about this actually in a moment, because somebody asked. But that's also, you do a lot of creative things with kids, don't you? I mean, that's one of the things, in going out or, whatever. I mean, that's literally your opportunity to be the kid again, if, you manage it. I know when I was raising my daughter and she was small, I was going through a lot of clearings. And I have to say, if I could do it again, and still these days, sometimes I find it hard to be as active and sometimes even as present with her as I want to be. So that in itself, just being present with your children is actually the greatest gift that you can give them. But sometimes, also for the mothers listening here, I mean, I went through many times where, it's just been very challenging going through everything, anchoring all these energies, going through all the clearings. And back then I really didn't know what was going on. And I was heavily energetically attacked. And anyway, so it was a little bit of a misery. And I lost out kind of on that, having a beautiful kind of childhood with her again, in a sense. So that's the opportunity we have when we can. But don't be hard on yourself either. I mean, obviously it's also about balance. If we can rest and relax, or maybe put a pizza in the oven, instead of cooking a meal, if you're having a tough day, but hopefully then it won't be every day like that. But for me, it was every day just very challenging. And it still sometimes is. But we're getting there. For those of us, again, when you have a high, DNA blueprint, you're just doing a lot of clearing, a lot of activating, a lot of anchoring, and it really takes it out of you. But this is really becoming easy now. Ease and grace is now the new normal, literally, as those, who've cleared, and the forerunners who are holding, basically the blueprint for New Earth. We had to clear the shit from our field and the planetary field. That's what we've been doing 24/7 for many years. And we're all doing this to a certain extent, okay? Just some of us are doing this a lot, and you can't literally go and take a job because I would be calling in sick all the time, so to say. Anyway, but you get me, all right? And that's just what some of us have been doing, and everybody, again, is playing a different role, but we're all doing this. We're all like, when there are collective clearings and, fear coming up, like the fear of not ascending, know that it's from past timelines. Like, everything is personal. You will be connected to that from your own, incarnational selves, which are all merging as one, but it's also collective. For me, it's always both ends. We're always doing all the clearing and activating for ourselves as well as the collective, because we are just more conscious. That's our job, but we're connected to all of them. We are one collective, and it's really cosmic. So that's why when we heal ourselves, we literally help heal everyone else. So everybody's self-responsible and sovereign, but we're also doing on their behalf because they just don't know any better. And the same with people attacking us. It's ultimately, the thing was, like it says in the Bible, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And I added to this then because they don't know who they are. Because that's the only reason. People just get triggered by me also. They think like I'm arrogant, or I'm like, I get these are always, it's the same consciousness always coming at me, and it's the same words and the same phrases. It's like as if I'm high up, or I should come, down off my high horse, or, kind of, this whole kind of rhetoric or thinking basically I'm arrogant, but it's just my confidence that's triggering their own insecurity, and they're just kind of triggered by what they think that it's missing within them, ultimately, because they're still stuck in compartmentalized polarity and victimizer consciousness. But I have so much love, I just was sending out so much love to that whole masculine collective, because I could feel also after my last video, the whole masculine collective, like I could feel it in my whole field, like kind of that whole backlash. Because I know sometimes I have to sometimes around activations, when I put on a call, when I do live videos and all of these things, but I really could just hold it, then also with this whole exchange with this person, and fully neutralize it in a field of pure, true divine love. And thankfully also, this was also possible because my masculine was holding the energetic container and field that I really felt fully sovereign, and I could handle that without getting defensive or aggressive or angry. Like I was a bit like, hey, no, I'm not having this on my page. But, I didn't take it personally because I could just see what was going on. And I know that as I'm holding him in love and neutrality, I'm helping him heal. And this is part of my consciousness, because it's my little bit of very subconscious fear from in the one mind that is still like thinking, oh no, pole shift is going to be a bad idea. So it helped me neutralize that. And the more, kind of doubt has been thrown at me, the more I can actually anchor my confidence. So you need to see that whenever someone is trying to, gaslight you, or trying to, say what you're thinking is crazy or whatever, just know it for what it is. And you can just smile and see it as a test. And, you can use it as becoming more confident, or you can use it as, feeling insecure, depends, or less confident. And ultimately, again, I know source is in charge, and I don't have anything to worry about, truly. And any kind of fear you have about a timeline not going right, another cataclysmic event, that's a fallen timeline that you're feeling. As you get rid of the fear, the realities no longer exist. So if it's information held in your DNA, in your cellular memory, it's consciousness, it's basically data, information. What codes do you have running? Do you have fallen timelines running in your field? So whatever you pay your attention towards, you keep feeding and co-creating. I think we can all agree on that. And if you think that's all a lot more complicated because somebody told you so, it is on some level, yes, it is. But again, getting us at a consciousness level to that is a lot about talking in simple terms. And that's what Jeshua did. You know, it's you fully, like, you know, you only get so far with, you know, searching and learning from books and so far, but in the end you need to basically let it all go and just connect to source and let God show you your own connection to source consciousness. This is what all of this is about, and it's not found in the book, and it's not at guardian level either. It's source. It's not an ascended master, it's not an alien ET, it doesn't come from a guru. You're the guru, we're all the guru. Not that we even like using that word, but I don't mind it either. And I don't get hung up about words, because we all use different rhetoric and kind of terminology. So as you shift your consciousness, your DNA activates. But again, think about it. What is price consciousness? It's unity consciousness. It's not polarized dogmatism of good versus evil, right and wrong. And this is right, this is wrong. And when you see a certain word, you know, that's your belief system telling you what you're seeing. That's not you seeing clearly. It's not. You see clearly when you fully transcended your ego self that thinks it knows things, and just surrender to source and tune into the higher cosmic telepathic network of the super consciousness field. That's what we're here to tune into. Cosmic consciousness, nothing less. So we're fully anchoring also with this whole 11th Stargate full repair and the 12th gate, Martina. Also the alignment with the Buddhic mind and cosmic Christ consciousness. So that's fully, you know, going mainstream now. All right. So Stargate systems fully reclaimed. The new organic creatrix field is about to go fully online. This is connected to a pole shift. It's already happened energetically. Physically, it's already happening anyway. And again, this is a holographic projection. All right. And it's not going to go catastrophic. Now, and why would you want to be feeding those timelines anyway? At the very least, surrender to source. So this also completes the rehabilitation of fallen Anunnaki hybrid lines. That's also all connected to the 11th Stargate and 11th, because they're basically part of the fallen 11-dimensional lines from the Avalon Stargate that became also the fallen Seraphim. And these are basically fallen Anunnaki Elohim hybrid lines. It's also connected to the hybridized fallen draconian line. So that's clearing all of these lines. And again, not all of them. Again, on a personal level, those people with a lot of that coding, you know, will still on their own, you know, will have made certain decisions to correct their blueprint, aka their consciousness, to a certain degree to make ascension. All right. So these lines, these races are being rehabilitated, but again, not everybody's coming along. But it's the same for human, like, you know, angelic humans. Ultimately, you know, again, no, I'm not going to go into it. That's what I'm going to say to that. All right, that's also fully clearing and healing all fallen angelic DNA and digressions, which we also have in our DNA, all of us, because we're all mixed DNA by now, okay, which is what all of this was about. And also the checkerboard mutations and reversals in our fields. So that's clearing all of that digressed DNA coding, which is digressed consciousness, which is the junk DNA. And it's quantum, and it's happening now, full igniting, or to the degree, you know, each one has aligned themselves with as we fully go online. That's what I'm seeing. Any moment now. I see the next 48 hours pivotal. I'm going to say it again. Not that I like being linear. It's ultimately about frequency alignment. And again, this is fully done since the solstice and the new moon just gone. So this is also the restoring the Lyran avatar matrix. So that's the fourth harmonic universe. And that's basically, if you want to look at it now, it's 10D to 15D. So again, we're going way beyond 5D. And again, it's all one now, really. It really is, because it's also you merging and unifying all of your multidimensional selves. So all of your aspects, your dragon aspects, all of your ET aspects, Syrian, Andromedan, Lion, whatever it may be. And we have several usually, depending on, again, how many DNA strands you have as well. And Mer aspects, Lion aspects, Agathen aspects, all of that, okay? All of our aspects, and with source, it's one, okay? And we are all our own true guru, but we also need to see it in one another, that's the whole thing. Nobody is above another. Everybody knows certain things, and every interaction is, where we can where we can learn something. So, the same when, I would do a session with someone, there's always something for me in there. I'm integrating and healing more deeply. It will always be like that, because that's how this works. And one thing I'm also going to say to the whole higher purpose, biggest picture to all of this, of why all of this has happened. So if we think about that, we offered, so first of all, I said the invaders can only come in when you're not there, okay, when we're not fully conscious. So we fell in consciousness, which is why the invaders even appeared, okay? Now, that's just how this goes, and it's all quantum. Once you really get the whole quantum, it's all happening simultaneously, ultimately. It's like the chicken and the egg. It's happening simultaneously. So you're creating the fall and the rising at the same moment, because it served a higher purpose. So once you get that, the same with your own life, that is all perfect, ultimately, although it was a shit show to get through for most of us. Then you come out and say, hey, yeah, okay, I get you. I love you all, brothers and sisters. Let's get over this nonsense. That's where we're at now, okay? So when we understand we are the victim, we are the victimizer, we are the hero, we are the villain, and we've all played many roles. That's the whole Ho'oponopono, where, we know it's like, judge not lest you be judged. So all the judgments are being transcended as you fully merge with your multidimensional selves, okay? And this is also what's merging all the dimensions and realities as one organic creatrix field. And more are remembering that this is the only true reality there really only ever was, as well as it being totally new. J seals all being cleared, removed. Everything is being fully removed. Everything. See it literally just removing in your field now. Ignite the Holy Spirit in your heart. I work with the diamond white flame a lot. Out in your field. See it all dissolving in your field. It can be that easy right now. Really. It's just been all cleared. What was I saying? I was saying something, wasn't I? So also the whole awakening of Albion, which is also connected to the whole Krystal Saphira, so the whole androgynous light body, it's that basically the codes for the hierogamic union codes are held here in the Irish, especially, I believe, which is very much connected to the triple spiral and the Tribeca codings. They're held here in the landmass in the UK and France. So France, you also have the 12 Stargate in Montsegur that connects with Kauai, that I've also been working on a lot. So that's all fully igniting on coming online. So it's basically all set. We are in full control. And it's very much connected also to our divine organic blueprints. Again, that are also held within the land masses. It's also here, I believe, it's very much also the dragon energies are very strong here in Ireland. And they really hold the ancient genetic divine blueprints, which is the gnosis, which is the consciousness, which is the, wisdom that we carry within us, which is power. So they are powerfully coming online right now and awakening. And they're ancient, also Hyperborean codes here, and are also connected to the Fays and the fairies and the elves, the Elven Kingdom and the seed. So, and the awakening Albion and the rise of Arthur, and this is basically also connected to divine union blueprints, hierogamic union blueprints with the triple solar, so the triple solar masculine and feminine. So in the feminine, they call it here Guinevere or Bridget or Mary Scotta or Mary Sophia. For me, again, however you want to name this, it's ultimately masculine, feminine, the triple masculine or feminine. I also see the same as the triple goddess aspect, where it's like the maiden, the, what's the middle part? And the crone. The maiden, not the mother, and the crone. It's not called the mother. What's the triple goddess? God, you see, like, seriously, words sometimes are often fail me. But you get me. So the triple solar, because we're getting, all has been also cleared with the last new moon, fully any lunar distortions that were happening. And it's also connected to the whole black magic, that also the whole false light matrices, the whole mind control, that especially has been a big issue for the masculine. Because they've just been more mentally focused in their mind. The maiden, mother, and crone. Okay, so it is the mother. So, and basically this is also the whole return of Alpha, and awakening of Albion is really returning these cosmic Christ, feminine and masculine Christ principles back. So these blueprints, that's what's igniting when we talk about this. So the return of Alpha is that. So the return of the masculine solar Christ principle. The same is happening for the feminine. Again, I see this really happening simultaneously. It's also connected really with the igniting of the cosmic intelligence, also connected to the rainbow rounds that are running plasma light through the stargates and through all the grids, and healing, the grids and the meta worlds, because the plasmas also, they do a lot of the re-encryption of the elementals, which is basically our meta worlds, and also within our own fields. I'm just having a look at my notes. So yeah, the memory vibe can be quite intense at times. I've had it several times, and I mentioned this before. It's like I'm making notes sometimes, and just as I'm trying to make the note, it's gone. And I'm really trying to grab onto thoughts. I'm glad that I'm managing to transmit as good as I am. I think I do. I'm also trying. I think I'm speaking a little bit slower today, which is also important for me, because I tend to speak very fast. So the energies can be very intense. The memory vibe, it's just the past, the fallen, false timelines clearing. Let the past go. Because it's like there's a parallel timeline. It's like a fallen timeline. And then you have, a whole other reality, which is kind of the polar opposite of where we've been. And it's basically your biggest dreams already fulfilled. Imagine that. Imagine that. Your imagination is your superpower. If you think of a timeline split, it's more like a timeline hop. And we don't even do timelines anymore, okay? But because obviously that's a word that is being thrown around a lot. I haven't seen that. Because for me, it's all emerging, and all else has just been fully dissolved. All these AI timelines, all the AI artificial matrix overlays and AI materials are being fully dissolved as the event goes fully online. That's what I'm seeing. And we're literally waking up as if from a dream, and everybody will remember what has happened, but as if you're awakening from a dream, because you don't want to have these memories running, because that's what has been, keep co-creating the same again and again. But now that we've cleared all the trauma and wounds connected to all of this nonsense, we can forget about it, so to say, forgive and forget, but we will know what happened. So we keep the lessons, but they're no longer, keeping on loop in our mind. And then you remember a totally new history, a new ancient future where we should be. Okay, all new technologies, futuristic. All right, and I'm not putting time like Earth in the year, blah, blah, blah. But let's say 100 of years in the future. Okay, because we are way behind. We've been stuck in loops. This is not real. It's artificial. Okay, now again, tune in yourself what you are accessing, because it's literally held in your DNA, those memories. And you are about, it's about activating your memories of that ancient future. So you're holding the codes within the 144,000 for that blueprint to fully come online as you remember your ancient future, which has a different history to this one, where none of the galactic wars ever happened, where none of the invasions ever happened. It's totally been wiped from our memory. Ushkana esara te 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 tat askana yena kera su kuku yena kea se. Tanata. Tanayana kea ke. So this is a whole reset of the consciousness, and at the moment our operating system, that's why rest is so important, sacred rest. Okay, it's like just, I mean, there's so many crystalline activations happening. So when you feel all these tingles, and the more you can relax, the more you feel it. So when we're active, you often can't feel them, although you also get often like nausea, dizziness. That's also as we are spinning faster and faster in our Merkaba field, as the Merkaba Lightbody is fully activating, okay, and we're getting literally ready to lift off. And it's also as you're going up in vibrational spin rate, your field spins faster. So you can feel like literally as if you're, going up in, as if on an airplane sometimes, or just vertigo and that kind of stuff. And all the other symptoms, again, obviously headaches with these activations to the crown and the third eye, and that also can cause sometimes nausea. But just, treat yourself, especially now this period is often, a time of, for most people, especially in the West, a time of kind of rest and taking it slowly. So just drop into no time, quantum no time. Because this is where you access the quantum field, and this is where you access your gifts and abilities. Like, are you supposed to project your light body up into the sky? It will just come to you. Again, who came up with the idea of the light bulb? It's who's the one dreaming and thinking here anyway. Once you get rid of your ego, your false ego self, get to know your true self, which is your already ascended diamond avatar self, at one with cosmic consciousness, you're accessing all of your gifts and abilities, but you can't find them in a book. And there is no manual anywhere. It's written into your DNA, all your navigational instruction sets, all there. It's blast off time, baby. Oh yeah, it is. It is. It really is. All right. And if you think that's so far off, you're constantly oscillating and activating your DNA strands constantly. You're constantly going up and down in dimensions. It's just that we're now with the full ignition, stabilizing it fully. Of whatever you have already activated in consciousness, because that's the thing. As you go up in the levels and dimensions, you have access to different consciousness fields. So what's right in one dimension is no longer right in the next consciousness field. That's why linear sense goes out the window as you access full multidimensional cosmic consciousness. It's multidimensional consciousness. It's in every moment you're accessing a different truth. And that's also the Buddhic mind. So you're not trying to figure it out with your brain and trying to remember some facts, which you ultimately often can't. But it's just knowing what you need to know, and every now moment it just flows to you. It's no more having the big, head full of thoughts. It's just flowing in and out. That's also why a lot when I'm getting a thought and it's gone, it's because it's just flowing in and out, and that also allows us to be fully anchored in the now moment, because that's also the ego mind. That's part of the suffering, is either in the past or the future. It's never here. That's the presence. So when you're fully present, when you're at home, when you're fully conscious, no invader comes in. There's no need to. Why would you dream this up anyway? And you're fully connected to God source consciousness. And the more you do this, the more you are fully you're fully tuned in with your God source navigational system and know what to do in every now moment. Because this is all quantum now. Nothing is set anymore. And you're constantly co-creating with what you believe in and what your deepest expectations are. That's why getting to know your unconscious beliefs or subconscious is so important, getting to know yourself. Because so far it's been our traumas and wounds of humanity that's been co-creating all of this nonsense. And all of the mind control, obviously, in the MK Ultra programming and all of the other trauma bonding, all of that, what happened. But it's all healing and clear now. I hope you can also feel that. Hi, Keith. Hi, Bronte. Hi, Unity. Hi, Christina. I know Neil was there as well. Felicia. So yeah, it's all new now. I don't even do time anymore. Although on New Year's night, I usually meditate and go into the field and work with it when, kind of around midnight, and it's usually very super potent. It's similar to, I find, like a solstice almost kind of energy that I feel, and especially right now. I mean, nothing is like it has been before, quite frankly, because it's all new now. You need to really be the embodiment of all new beginnings and being that inner child that now can come out to play, because your masculine and feminine is fully unified and healed, and the child can come out to play, which is the humble child that enters the gate to heaven. And we already walk in the stairway to heaven, but it's really a merging of all of these dimensions as you're merging all of your multidimensional selves, which everyone who's triggering you is helping you with, until you've learned your lessons and you no longer get triggered. 555, we take it. So, and we ignite it again, and it's about getting rid of all the beliefs and thought forms that are telling you that what you feel deep within you can do and what is possible, because otherwise what would you thinking and dreaming of it anyway? And it's God dreaming through you if you're tuned into source, which we are. You wouldn't be able to dream of it if it wasn't possible. And then all you need to really do, which is what we've been busy doing, is clearing out, letting go of any thought forms and beliefs that are telling you that you can't do that. Because the same with how do we access that divine love? It's by, taking down all the walls and belief systems and wounds and traumas and healing them that are keeping us from opening up to that love and feeling again now safe to love. Because once you know yourself, you know how to read other people, and you know who is good for you and who isn't. And you're not afraid to now say yes to love, because that's where we're at now. That's the unity field, fully online. I mean, it's already been online, but we keep deepening into the feelings of oneness, because it's also, often when we have expansions, as we are activating these higher strands of DNA and meditation or whenever, being in nature, and you have an expansion, you feel like, yeah, now I'm like in 5D or whatever you want to call it, okay, in higher consciousness, and I made it. And then 1 or 2 days later, you feel like shit again. And basically what you're doing is, this is the expansion, and then you're contracting, okay? Just know it for what it is. And then you're just clearing out anything that is not congruent with that frequency, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Okay, so just know it for what it is. So as you're going through the clearing, as long as you're knowing it for what it is, you don't believe, you don't attach to the thought forms and the belief systems that are actually creating the suffering, which is your ego, who is believing that this is even true. Because it's fictional stories ultimately, or old storylines we have been transcending. But obviously we also want to learn the lessons, because that's how you're healing your consciousness, because that's where the lesson is coming in. It wants to correct the discordant thought forms and beliefs that are causing suffering. And that's what clears and comes up and out as you contract. So know it for what it is when you're contracting, and just observe, be the neutral observer. And the quicker and easier this goes. Whilst you also need to feel it, because you really need to bring it up and out. The worst thing we can do is suppressing. Of course, we hold the balance. We don't, again, we learn mastery, but you don't want to suppress. You need to learn how to alchemize it and keep turning, frustration and hate and anger and being triggered back into love, and understand that ultimately it's serving you, helping you integrate more of you, all of these aspects that you feel separate from. But I see this is happening literally automatically right now, whether you're actively wanting to do the work or not, because again, some of us are doing this actively, the whole reprogramming like I do, and many people that we see, out like in the masses, they're just more unconscious. But again, we're all uplifting to the higher consciousness, and that's why we also can see other people, awakening. I think everybody now is, I believe, on the same beliefs that we are in the awakening. I think we're all there, aren't we? And soul and your source will just show you what you need to know in every now moment, but you need to train yourself to listen to your intuition, which is your GPS, your source guidance system. And you need that now and always, okay? Because it's not written out for you. We are now co-creating and writing the new storylines and all new beginnings. All right, so you're co-creating now all the interference patterns. It's all being cleared. So we cannot blame anymore all these last entities and so forth. It's all been fully dusted. And it's ultimately the lower consciousness we hold in our fields. And if we are, stuck in anger and grief or shame, guilt, this is what opens our fields up to entities. As we clear all of this up and heal it, your field is healed and you no longer have problems with any attacks because they're just totally neutralizing your field. And anyone who's coming into contact, like anyone trying to attack me, is ultimately being healed because you have nothing but love for them. But it's the own who don't take the nonsense. So it's both ends. Yeah, and that's what we need to be now. We need to really fight for the truth, but not from fighting in that way, but like light warriors, we need to be really, this is not for the faint of heart at all. That is for the brave hearts. And speaking our truth takes courage and does take bravery, because you need to be ready to be not liked, to be attacked, to be made the scapegoat, and all of these things. And at some point you will just laugh at it, like I'm finally able to, and see it for what it is and just send love. And that's how we're healing everyone now. So anyone who might have this coming up, be the love warrior that you are, or the peacemaker, so to say. Speak your truth, be in your true authentic self. That's the key to all of this. And see them in a higher light where you don't take nonsense, but send them love and see them healing and getting it. Okay, what they might not do on a kind of person-to-person level, but at a higher level, you can have these conversations in your mind with them, which is happening anyway, and resolve these things. And it's ultimately healing your own still doubts or fears or worries within your own field. Because that's why it's coming up, because it's been all projected out. It's all a co-creation. Otherwise, it wouldn't come up. So it's helping you to clear the anger, the fear, the shame, the guilt, whenever something is triggered. So you say, thank you. I might not be having fun transmuting this, but ultimately it's a gift and it's helping me to merge with my multidimensional self and with the oneness. And that's Ascension. It is. In my book, anyway. Take what resonates, leave the rest. But with this whole memory wiping and reset, it's happening as a one consciousness. So, either you go along or be dragged, and some, as I say, are not making it, but the loved ones, I wouldn't worry, okay, about our loved ones. I just see that anyone who might be stuck in, what's it called again? When you don't want to know, cognitive dissonance, they will just be waking up, might be a little bit of awakening. Everybody needs a wake-up call. But ultimately, as you shift the consciousness, again, you will see it's like, I've been shown as a vision, it's like waking up and it's like, oh, that was stupid. But you can laugh at it because, again, a higher consciousness doesn't see this seriously. Because we're looking at it from a 3D fragmented perspective. At the higher level, this is all a big happening. And nobody is really doing here anything once you have transcended the ego, which we are doing collectively. So you're fully transcending victim-victimizer consciousness, which is necessary, which is the good versus evil, right versus wrong, and all of that. So that needs to be totally transcended. Whilst you see, yes, that's what went on, but so we could learn from it. And now we know, oh yeah, I didn't finish this. Now we know, earlier, now we know ourselves the difference between what serves us and what doesn't, which is the difference between good and evil. And it would really be evil is unconscious, us not being at home, us not being fully conscious and anchored in our body, which has happened through soul fragmentation and trauma and wounding. And so the big picture that I see is with the whole DNA digression, because it's all about DNA, yeah? A war over DNA, a war over consciousness, ultimately, what this boils down to. Now, when you know the Christic lineages hold the Christic DNA, so the divine blueprints, that's what we do, yeah? And then the fallen races basically came, we offered rehabilitation programs for their digressed template because they didn't have, they had a split between 10 DNA strands and 12. That's also, again, what we can then see within the stargates, where we had the damage that was done to the Lion Avalon stargates, so between 10 and 12D. What was I getting at? DNA, consciousness. Okay, we offered rehabilitation to the fallen races, fallen angelics, and instead they basically duped us. And so one of the stories, and I brought this up before because it's a big part of the whole twin flames, the original twin flames, and where a lot of the wounding has happened, Lemurian Holocaust, and also the forced breeding trauma, which is basically where the Anunnaki fallen hybrids came and took the priesthood of Ur, the woman who held the original source codes and divine blueprints in Lemuria, and basically took them to Nibiru and slaughtered the masculines. While they also duped us to say basically that the premise was that if the woman would go with them, they would spare the man's life, which obviously they didn't, because they kind of lie a lot. So anyway, we learned a lot over the eons. And so that has caused, and that's deep within the human psyche, which we've been clearing. That's a lot to do with the womb healing. That's had to do with the digression of the DNA, because that's how they're forced the interbreeding of the fallen angelic DNA. So basically, this is how the DNA got mixed and digressed instead of them going with a rehabilitation program. But I'm also being shown through the rehabilitation program, you wouldn't have had the intermixing of DNA. We would have helped heal this, but it wouldn't have been like the intermixing as it has happened. And by nature, you're not compelled or you're not drawn to get a different DNA blueprint usually. But that only then works with the reversals that have been running in the field. That's why we've been also connected and been drawn to karmic partners in essence. Because they have parts of the blueprint we still need, which is kind of digressed in our blueprint, and we're helping one another heal. But it wouldn't be the highest usual choice, which is kind of a twin flame blueprint. They're literally your genetic equal, and that's what it's your other half, and you're, basically at one with them, and it's your highest match. And that would be a highest resonance DNA-wise. But now listen to this. So it could only happen, and with now, the deeper you go, the higher you go. Okay, so the more the digression of DNA, the more the expansion of DNA. And it's the same for the consciousness. So the more we fell in consciousness, the more we can expand also in consciousness. Because one only exists with the other. Yeah, nothing exists without its opposite. So basically, think of it in the terms of, let's say, the ancient Egyptian lines, but it's really part of the Christic lines as well, where you married within your family lines. So you married your cousins or even brothers and sisters. And that, again, too much perfection creates imperfection. So as we know from inbreeding, so to say, you then get digressed DNA because it's too much of the same. So you need the opposite in order to expand, which you can see also in the royal bloodlines these days, or the false royals, what they have also done. So they're no longer so much marrying their cousins and so forth, but more, also outside of royal families. But you get me, that's a real thing. So I've been shown this is how we literally expanded consciousness. It wouldn't have happened without the rape, because we wouldn't have naturally been wanting to mate with these, other races. And that's how we could heal their blueprint, but also expand ours and the whole consciousness and really unify all as one and literally transcend, go beyond polarity consciousness, where we literally have merged now the fallen angelic with the human angelic, or the shadow and the light, higher and lower self, heaven and earth. It's all interconnected. It really is. Because you need to, if something is too perfect, you create the other extreme. So you need to have it more in balance for the 0 point field, where again, we've expanded now, but it will really be, again, a unity field, God source consciousness, but everybody will be joining that field. Okay, so you no longer have these digressed races running around and creating havoc in the multiverse. All right, because it's one consciousness, it's a cosmic consciousness reset. Now, that's what I'm being shown. All right, so we're letting fully go of all expectations to outcome, especially the feminine has been doing this. So any of the codependent patterns, because between the twin flames, you often have codependent narcissistic patterns kind of playing out and templates and themes, and the runner-chaser dynamic, which are all connected to that. And what I've also been shown is that actually as a codependent, the other narcissist is like your inner narcissist projected outwards. Because as a codependent, you're also always thinking it's about you, just the other way around. So you always think it's your fault and you're responsible for everyone and everything, and you need to take care of everyone and anything. Where with the narcissist, it's more like everybody's there to serve them and is an extension of, just fulfilling their needs. You get me? So as you heal the inner narcissist within your own codependent, if you're more codependent, then you also heal in the narcissist. So these templates are fully dissolving and clearing now, because we're all of these things. Again, we all go through, also as a child, for example, you're narcissistic. You go through these developmental stages, but the problem is some of us don't grow out of them and then develop more, kind of personality disorders. And we all, again, have these aspects. So I would never just, again, when we point to others, these are also aspects of us that we're here to integrate. But as one of the polarities clears and heals, the other does as well. So as the whole collective codependent and victim clears, the victimizer also disappears, because there's nobody more to victimize. You get me? And it's all interconnected with these kind of templates. So embody the change that makes the shift complete, which is happening now. Let's make the magic happen. Have some fun with it. And it's basically going back to paradise, which is igniting from within. And again, the twin flames hold the paradisian Edenic codes. That is igniting the new Eden, the new paradise, all from the inside out. And they also, as they're merging fully now, physically, this is bringing the physical new earth reality fully online. That's what I'm seeing. And also just being reminded, because, I've mentioned before, and for those who might not have heard that, so I had an experience where in a dream, I literally built a portal between me and my twin, who is, physically, so to say, but space doesn't exist, distance. But, he lives on another continent, but physically built a portal and basically kissed for the first time. It was really physical. So I really believe in the dream we built a portal. And I believe that's kind of how we're accessing this and igniting this. That's what I've been getting. But again, I haven't been shown yet exactly. So the portal is also then a teleportation where you're just connecting one, because again, it's really true divine love is transcending all the known laws of the 3D physical universe and the false realities with it, okay? Which is time, space, gravity. And you just totally transcend that, because it's ultimately not real. It really isn't. It's just a projection. We are imagining this. And it's all very malleable. So that's also how teleportation works. You're tuning into another frequency bandwidth, ultimately, like as if you're tuning into another radio station. So you don't need a physical portal somewhere to move through, as what I'm seeing, we're accessing. It's your heart. Your heart is your own stargate. Your heart is your portal. And I'm glad many of you are feeling paradise. And I was also seeing earlier on something about divine craziness, because I remember someone was saying underneath my post, like, oh yeah, and some people think, we are crazy and it's okay to be the crazy one. And I was just, yeah, but no, we're not crazy. And it's like the mind that's crazy, thinking that the heart is crazy. It's all inverted here. And it's both ends. Obviously, yes, but we're like the divine crazy. We're the fun crazy, okay? We're having fun with it, but it's not crazy because it's all inverted here. That's the whole thing. If you know it for what it is, the whole collective has been in its psychosis. I mean, we've all been part of it. We haven't seen reality for what it really is, which is why we're seeing this crazy artificial simulation instead of the real organic reality. That's the only real truth there is. or the real organic projection of what we really hold within, our organic divine blueprints. As they ignite, paradise ignites. And I was saying something else there, but I can't remember now. Just quickly going through my list. Anyone has any question? What do you mean with collapsing the moon matrix and connected to the cycles? Cycles as in menstrual cycles or time cycles? Like, it's definitely connected to menstruation. There's a lot, obviously, that the feminine, like she had to clear this whole lunar feminine matrix and distortions. And there's been so much womb clearing. I mean, I've been doing this for many, many, many years. Because depending again on, yeah, that's another thing I want to bring in. Somebody sent me an email and it was something along the lines of, you know, the constant attacks and why it is happening and so forth. Now, you need to just understand, if you hold these divine blueprints and codes that are literally igniting new earth now, yes, the fallen angelics who didn't want to ascend and wanted to keep this fallen matrix alive have been obviously hunting us down, killing us, raping us, torturing us, hating on us because they don't know who they are, because they don't know what they're doing, because the consciousness is so digressed that they don't grasp that a simple shift from fear to love is going to ascend them, because they can't grasp source consciousness at that level. So their hate is then projected at us, which again we can see within our own families and tribes. And that has made them hate on us and want to kill us and get rid of us, because again, we are the solution, or basically the end of their life. You know, it's ultimately also survival mechanism, but it comes from an inverted, digressed mind that is, you know, at war with itself, which is part of us, because we've all been part in having, because ultimately the last war is one within, and that's within each one of us. And that's where all the other wars came from. So that's why, as we're like, you know, it's like we're walking back in time, doing all these timeline corrections, everything that went wrong, which is where we need to see, where did we get divided? Where did we, you know, maybe attack or hated on someone? Like, you know, if somebody watches this and they, you know, feel triggered by me and like projects hate at me, and obviously that's happening a lot. Probably not so much now anymore. I see this finally ending, but you know, obviously that affects my energy field. There's a lot I have to deal with, and there's been a lot of that. So you know, we need to be very aware of the thoughts and projections and what we are sending out, how we hold our energy, how we're sending out energy. That is all. This is a collective telepathic field. I feel this stuff. I'm very aware. So, you know, and we all do this. So we need to, you know, sometimes when I get angry, so I hold it in my field. I really try to not send it to that person if somebody triggers me, you know, and just alchemize it, because I know ultimately it's just something where I'm angry with myself because I let them overstep a boundary, or I, you know, didn't stand in my integrity, or whatever it would be. But it always comes back to yourself. When you're in integrity with yourself, you fully healed your trauma and wounds, you have a sovereign, rock solid energy field, and nothing can get to you. So yesterday, for example, so after my last video, and I could really feel this backlash from the masculine energy just in the field, from the mind, from the matrix, which is basically going down. But it wouldn't get to me. I knew it was going on, but it ultimately didn't get to me at all. Like, my field is solid now. Touch wood. Because every time you say these things, it's then afterwards, like, are you sure? But ultimately, I'm also not, you know, I'm not afraid to be tested. I'm not afraid to feel shitty tomorrow. I'm not afraid to go through clearing. I'm not afraid to be in pain. Because you can be in pain and not suffer. And once you're no longer afraid and you no longer get triggered, that's when all of this stops, which is now. All right? As one. Now. And some will be dragged along with us, those little unwilling minds, but they're just stuck in illusion. And they will be wakey now as well. That's what I'm saying. And I'm also seeing, although we are clearing those Taran and Gaian timelines, but we ultimately are a Martina, like Ascension Earth, 12D Earth is what we're going. Because if you think about it, if you think of quantum, these are just different earlier versions of Earth. But I also believe that we will be depending, on kind of these areas within, again, the organic creatrix field, where you will have access then maybe to, if you've been manifesting 5D Tara or Tataria or an Atlantis, you probably end up there. That's probably how this goes, depending on what you have co-created for yourself. So it's like the artificial simulation goes down. Everybody remembers what the fuck really happened and who are the real perpetrators here and the real false light. All right. And then they know better, and then they can make better decisions. But the false matrix is down. And then, we are holding, those who are fully ascending are holding the blueprint then for others to join us as they're doing the work. So it's a both end. That's how I'm seeing this. So the New Earth Diamond Grid, our crystal body, multidimensional DNA, our diamond rainbow plasma light body, so the androgynous Krystal Saphira or Crystal Saphira or Albion light body, however you would like to call this, is fully activated now, along with our Merkaba, the head of the planet, and it's very much connected to our heart also, these heart and crown twinnings that are happening. What is not funny? Blame isn't our vortex. Did I blame anyone? What happened? So anyway, the fireworks are on and we're reaching the full climax of our ascension. That's all I'm seeing, and I know other people are seeing it as well. And remember, once you have transcended your ego, there's no one doing you anything. It's a happening. You've transcended karma because you're no longer in separation and in distorted polarity consciousness, like the false ego equals the false realities, okay? Which is all these old thought forms and beliefs. So just let go, God, show you the way and the real truth, and it's coming. Okay. So yeah, I think I even went through all of my notes, more or less, just that I don't forget this time. I'm going to just double check. So as long as we remember, as in our own lives, now all the puzzle pieces are coming together, it's also happening collectively, which is why I'm trying to share the big picture here, why all of this happens ultimately, and how, and what is at the core of it, so we can resolve it all fully. And that's what's bringing healing to all. And again, it already has happened at higher level, and it's just trickling down as the full multidimensional merge is here. It's here now. It really is here now. It's all merged as one field. All the dimensions and realities, and it's just about to come fully online and visible and physical. Finally, everything we've been talking about forever. Literally. So yeah. And for example, like 12D Shield and Maharaik Shield, I think I don't pronounce that correctly. It's all good. I connect all the way back to source, back down again. So I make kind of my own version out of it as well. I also recommend that. You can expand it, just connect for all the stargates back to source, back again to the crystalline core. So yeah, just open your heart up, open your mind up, arms wide open up to love, open up to the magic, all new beginnings. Let's get back to paradise. I believe it is already so, for so it is. And it's just, I hope you can feel all these polarized, thought forms and beliefs that have kept us separate, all the judgments, opinions, it's just dissolving in this sea of pure, true, divine love. And that's opening up the, hearts and minds. And it's only the ego that is basically clinging on to dear life. So know it for what it is. If it comes up in your reality in whichever way, in your own self, and through others, because they're parts of you ultimately. So they're just bringing you some maybe subconscious fears that you're still carrying into your field. And you're just there to say, oh no, I don't believe in that. That's how you need to see it. See yourself and other people. And that's healing the fragmentation. And that's you multidimensionally merging with your higher identities. All right. And it's soul, oversoul, avatar, rishi, God source consciousness, all in. Okay. And our memories are turning, with it our gifts and abilities, and with it the history records, our remembering is changing. So we are remembering the cosmic history records, and as you do this, it's basically the ancient future which you're accessing, which is igniting the new earth realities in quantum no time. All right, so whole new life, whole new beginning. Get ready for your biggest, wildest dreams to come true, because they are. And the paranoia is lifting along with the ego. So the whole psychosis is healing. All right. So no more insanity. Hallelujah. Oh my goodness. I think that's it. I think I went for all my notes. So just have laser focus on your all new realities. Don't get distracted by the haters. Know them for what they are. Send them love. Heal us all. Save us all. Okay. Through the power of true divine love, let's show all the love. What's it called? Cynics, that true divine love truly does heal all, and it does have crystal clear vision. It's not clueless at all. Okay. So let's do this, because we are fully blitzing, clearing the whole field, and we're basically done here. So if you're navigating some final tips, I hope this has helped you. All I've shared, I'm just having a last quick look. I think that's it. I still have more notes, but I think I'll leave it there. Yeah, because also for full disclosure, we do need a lot of humor. Okay, if you think about what full disclosure means, that would literally bring, and this has been a big issue or risk along the way, psychological fallout at mass level, okay, collectively. But with the shift in consciousness, none of this, it's all been a co-creation, and it's been like a dream. That's the way out. And it's that's why it's called a quantum leap. And these quantum leaps and shifts are completing right now. And that's the paradigm shift in the consciousness, which is the paradigm shift in realities. Yes, it's a whole new architecture, because it's a whole new consciousness. Cosmic God source consciousness, literally merging heaven on earth, hasn't been done before. We didn't think that was quite possible to the extent that it's happening now and becoming online. But I believe it is so, for so it is. And I believe all remaining worries, doubts that are collectively may still be in the field are fully dissolving now, because they are. Because again, this is happening through the one consciousness. So that's it. I think that's it. So it's literally a big walking in now, that all the entities, all the attachments, all the cords, all of the scrap implants, inserts, it's all clearing. Again, remember, it's part of the dream. This is how the rest dissolves now, okay? We had to take all of this architecture down, which I've been sharing about plenty, in order to get to the point where you just fully quantum leap and remember this is all a dream. Never mind how complex that dream has come about and is the architecture behind it. It's still holographic. And yes, there's a whole new architecture, which is also, though, interwoven with the old, so to say. Okay? Again, that's what I'm seeing. And again, if you believe that that is not so, just ask yourself, why do you believe that is not so? Is it something that you have retrieved yourself for your own inner work, meditation, contemplation, connecting to source, or is it something you've learned and, an externally acquired belief system? Because that's what creates your realities. That's how you allow yourself to be programmed. That's how we've been programmed all our lives, through school systems and so forth. It's always this external information that we need to try and remember. This is not how the new consciousness works. You're holographically, through the field, accessing cosmic consciousness, higher intelligence, where you don't need to hold on to it. It just comes in and out. It flows in and out. That's what I'm seeing. Yes, rest, hydrate, get a massage, treat yourself, merge with the frequency of paradise. What would you feel like being on paradise right now? That's what we're going to do. Okay. And a lot of that, obviously, for me, like relaxing and tuning into these crystalline activations, is really resting my body fully. And that's where you then also feel, often when the crystallization comes in, you feel these bliss codes and frequencies activate, and which is just the higher consciousness, really, whatever we want to call these. And relaxation is also equals the relaxed nervous system, which is connected to the planetary grid system. So the more relaxed it can be, the more frequency come in, the more you can anchor, the more can activate. So the more relaxed you are, the more your DNA activates. And it's also connected to the frequency of love, because the frequency of love that activates your DNA, which is the higher consciousness. And again, this is omni love. This is not stupid love. This is gentle love, tough love, all unified within higher divine love, neutrality. Okay, it's all of these things. So we're rising in love as our one true self, the one true self, the one mind, heart mind. Okay, and remembering again that we all one, and waking up from this really shitty nightmare, for sure. Crazy dream. Yeah. All right. And we're never going to do this again. Let's never do this again, because this was nonsense. Although it was also perfect. That's the thing. In one of my videos lately, I said it's nonsense. And, we're waking up our mind to say, oh my God, this was really stupid, which is where we need to be. But then we also can see the perfection, as I said, of all this misery, of creating this new divine organic creatrix field, which is literally like an organic metaverse. And it's so malleable, and everybody is sovereign, can create their own, paradise within the bigger paradise, but is fully sovereign, self-responsible, and awakening from this nightmare. Okay, we're home. Okay, we're home. That's all I've been working for, doing my part to get us all home, because we're all one. Because that's why we also, assist one another. Because I know when I assist others, I'm ultimately assisting also myself, because I want to get out of this nightmare. I want to wake the heck up. So, which we are doing, already done for the soul. So all the wars end here, especially between the masculine and feminine energies, and their love is literally healing all of that, because as they can fully, look in the mirror, fully naked, fully authentic, fully transparent, fully in union with themselves and one another, that's healing all of the dimensions, that's healing all of the splits, it's healing the gender split, the divide on all layers and levels, okay, and merges heaven on earth and births forth all new worlds. It really is so, for so it is. And it's done, and it's happening now. So all of our biggest dreams coming true all at once, so to say. That's what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm co-creating and what I'm tuning into. That's my reality. What's yours? You get to decide. Imagine you get to decide what's your reality now. What do you think is possible? Basically the opposite of where we've been. And whatever you can think of is possible. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to think of it. It's already there. It's already created. Because it's not even about creating. It's tuning in what we've already created. With the frequency. So go there often. Line with the frequency, the energy, the feelings of that. Tune into the film strip of your own DNA within silence of what wants to be unlocked and what's unlocking. And that's our present to humanity, our true cosmic history records, which is our new Eden, fully ignited from within. And the Edenic blueprints, fully now, our Edenic bodies, paradisian bodies. We're going to ignite all of our gifts and abilities, and shape-shifting also. Would be fun, and that's what I'm also seeing. So in the future, we all play our roles, but you will have things like role play going on. So it's like one day I say, hey, do you want to play me? Because that's what we've been doing through the eons, through incarnation. So now we can literally play roles. You can also be, turn into an animal and try out to be a bird for a day or something like this. It's eternal life. It's your blueprint fully cleared and healed. Once you fully awaken to your true nature and essence, it's ultimately remembering your true nature, the true consciousness. It's a quantum leap in consciousness that it takes. And it doesn't hold the old belief systems and realities, because they keep projecting the same realities which we've always had. You need to think totally new thoughts and believe totally new things in order to access and co-create totally new realities, quite frankly. So one thing on jobs, because somebody asked this, just going to bring this in quickly, is they asked, what would jobs look like in the future? So what I'm seeing is you have communities. And in the communities, everybody's basically doing what they love. Because, for example, I said last time, like this is work, for example, as I referred to it. ultimately it's not work, it's who I am. It's part of me. I can't separate it from my other, waking hours, and I can't help myself doing it, quite frankly. And that's what we're all remembering. So once you remember what you're here to do, you will not be able to help yourself doing it. Once you remember your purpose, which is held in your DNA. So as everybody remembers that, everybody will play a role. Everybody has, tasks to do within the community to kind of keep it all going. So whatever, maybe some people do cooking, other people, you need a village to raise the children, which we will be having again. Okay. So I believe, yes, we will have jobs, but not in the original sense. It will literally be fulfilling your creative gifts and abilities, anchoring your keys and codes. And a lot of that will be creative gifts, but also obviously, some manual things. But as we're sharing this in a community, and nobody just needs to do everything themselves on their own, everything becomes a whole lot easier. So that's what I'm seeing. So you won't need any more of the industry. All of the stuff is just gone. It doesn't exist. Economy doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's fictitious. Governments, laws, they don't exist. Gone. I mean it. Delete them from the program because they're not real. Stop feeding the unreal. They're gone. It's all illegal. It's all imagination. It was all a projection we're now waking up from. No passports. I don't think also more airplanes because you're teleporting. Because time and space and gravity is not real. Only in the lower dimensional realms, which was part of the artificial matrix simulation. And that's part also of the pole shift, because the artificial magnetic field as it is at the moment is keeping us in lower density, which, as the magnetic field has been cracking and breaking and shifting, has helped us shift and lift in density, literally, which is also these feelings, of lightness and going up, becoming lighter and kind of vertigo and so forth. Yeah, levitation, there are living records of monks being able to do this. These superpowers, they have been spoken about, and we are talking about them because we remember them. That's our DNA switching on. How long do you think this is going to take? Ultimately, within a blink of an eye, as it fully ignites. And again, all ultimately down to divine will, which we're all part of in a divine orchestration. And I have absolutely no doubt that it's going ahead. Just a question of how it plays out. And I feel it's happening now, literally, linearly speaking, over hopefully the next 2 days. Now, let's see. Do we believe it's fully possible? It is in a blink of an eye. Obviously, it's been a long time coming as well. But then the last, part. And then obviously there's still more after that. Yes, there's always more. And again, I'm not seeing I have all the answers, but that's what I'm getting so far. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Look yourself, connect with yourself, your own higher guidance. But just, I would say, try to really focus on what you want to create right now more than ever before. All right. And don't get sidetracked. Also, when you have people coming at you, just don't have resistance. As I said, help them heal by seeing why they're coming from fear. Anger, all of these negative emotions, it's all fear-based. Okay, so just see it for what it is. All right. And then you can just kind of reassure them, or, have a conversation in your mind if they don't want to listen, to make it like, to tell them it's okay. It's all good. All right. So, okay, I think we leave it here. I might do a very short light language activation, but really, I think just light language. Anyone had any questions? Lightbody rainbow activation is fully online, 639. One more thing I actually noticed, within the 24/7 time clocks, you can never have a 369. You know the way numbers work? So it's always, because 369, next to the Tesla code, it's also from your masculine code. It's a code connected to the triad bodies. It's connected to also the different dimensional layers and levels, and the connection between that. And what I've seen also, the code should usually be 36912. But again, when you look at the clocks, our digital clocks, and again, it's not real, you can never get a 369. Yeah, you can get a 963. No, you can't. You can't get a 963. Not from a clock. That's what I mean. So the numbers are always tumbled. So that's, sorry, but I'm saying this because it's for me been shown as a representation of, as long as you're bound in time, the time codes are all kind of scrambled, which are the fire letters, which are now the quantum codes in your DNA. So in your DNA, you have DNA, RNA, and you have fire letters, which have been shown to me are now quantum codes. And for me, they're connected to that. And the masculine very much has held that the whole timelines. And them getting that there's no time is especially important. And I know they do. It's done. No more time. That's how you transcend the time matrix and all this nonsense. All right. It's a big, big, big thing because your eternal self doesn't die, has never been born, you see? But the one who's stuck in time is. And that's where there's the fear. But there is no one not making it anyway, as you're part of the one consciousness, and there's no beginning and no end. Now, there are some consciousnesses that are going back to source and basically will be kind of coming back in another form. But, again, don't worry about those parts, so to say. But as the oneness, nobody's left behind. Nobody is not making it. That's the funny thing. When we just look at it from a 3D perspective, that's how we see things. Fragmented and compartmentalized and divided and separate. So, okay. Now, a very quick activation. If you want to take some headphones, just give me a moment. If it's opening. Let's have a quick look at the comments. You were showing we're going back to source, but ultimately we're all going back to source. We're all dying. So you need to die, need to be ready to die and go back to source because it's ultimately what's happening. But look at it from a consciousness level. It's just your ego that can even die. Beyond the ego, there is no death. So that's the hilariousness of it. But again, because we're looking at it from a fragmented viewpoint. The thing is not opening, so just one sec. So right now it's final major course corrections that are unfolding. Okay, now also see there's a higher power taking over for the twin flames that is basically ensuring them coming together. Because again, they're pivotal to the whole collective ascension and carry these keys and codes. And again, we all carry them, okay? And it's about the divine inner union. Are we getting new bodies? No, I don't believe we're getting new bodies as such. It's, we are, but it's from the inside out. It's a transformation. That's why we've been in a lot of pain, some of us for many years. To crystallize your body, you need to go through a big transmutation. So, yes and no, but it's not like you're needing to die on your old body, so to say, and leaving like some body casket behind, because it's not real anyway. Your body is holographic. Okay, you might think you're all solid, but you're actually holographic, as is everything else. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. It's just because it's so densified and such a low vibration that it seems so solid. But it's also actually the least real of all the realities, so to say. So try to get out of your head would be my biggest tip in general. Drop it into your heart. And let it take over. No. Okay. Let's do a very quick activation. Just relax. And take a couple of breaths just to center ourselves in our heart center. Breathing in love through our heart, breathing it out our energy field. Letting go of any tension, any worries, any stress, any thoughts. Just let it all go and let your mind drop into your heart for them to become one. A mind and a heart and a heart and a mind. Aina tera se kira kena kara shushu nantara sasa. Ina ke una. Ina nani. Ke tara se na ye. Une aye. Ke yanarata. Une nanaye. Esunaye na. Kushunanane. E yukarare. Se na 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 na. Na ye. Mu ye na na te yushuna ye. E kokurane. Se na ta na na. E yu. Now focus on your crystalline heart center. Beautiful emerald within. And with the next breath, you breathe in to your crystalline heart and hold it there for a moment and let it build up. And with the next breath out, you breathe it out into your energy field like a big bubble of crystalline diamond rainbow plasma light. Beautiful liquid plasma light filling your whole field. Activating your Krystal Sapphire Diamond Rainbow Plasma Lightbody in Merkaba vehicle. Activating our ancient divine blueprints, templates, instruction sets, and star maps to our home, to our way back home. Fully igniting within us now, within our DNA and in quantum codes, timelessly so. Kushunatera sekenatara tatatata eya. Seke ekara. Koko e shunate. Senanane. Ke yunaye. Hena sunanana. Ke ate nanana. He senanana. Te yukarara. He ne. Una. He yananana. Te sunashanana. Ke yana ye. Tune. Nesu. Na ye na ye. Kushananane. Ye karane. Tuna ye. Tu ke nana se. Aye nana. Tu ye na ye na. Sunaye. Te ye nana na. Ye na ye. Yana. Feel your whole field clearing of any remaining density, lower, negative, artificial frequencies, entities, vibrations, sound and light fields, tones, sounds, fully now, throughout time and space. throughout your whole field. Clearing, dissolving any remain limiting, false, inverted thought forms and beliefs, all the old matrix programming, false light matrices, holographic overlays, inserts, false pictures of realities and memories, fully clearing now from our whole morphogenetic field, from our DNA, down to the cellular and molecular level. Now, suna kara ikera asku airan kera sa 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 ashu. Suna kera isha. Kukukukwa aina kera se kena kera kera. Fully healing any digressed genetic codings, any remaining traumas and wounds, any memories from galactic wars, cataclysmic events, all fallen timelines and realities and their memories fully dissolve and clear from our field, our DNA, and a quantum codes and memory and consciousness fully now. Suka aishana ke kera sa 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 aina ke kenate. Shenatata. Te ke aina tara eya era so so so. Netara. Eyuna seya. Nutu. Nai. Kara. Tena. Yuna sai. Eliza. Unae nae ayo. Kasarana te kurare. Ketuna te nanasunaye. Nane tuna kure kara tena. Feel your whole field becoming lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter. Fully igniting your crystal body and crystal gene. Crystallizing your blood, your bones, your fascia and your skin. Fully activating our multidimensional crystalline DNA. 13 strands of crystalline diamond DNA. Up to 24, 48, 72 strands of triple helix DNA and a divine template of the 144 plus 3 as 1 full subharmonic frequencies streaming through from the gut worlds, through our fields, through our hearts, through our DNA, fully igniting our ancient future memories of the true organic creatrix field now. Susha Aishanata Aisa Sa 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 Akakakakakara Kudu Kura Aina Susu Aina Kuku Aina na 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 Su Shu Sa Kuku Kakara Sukuta Aina Kera Ekena Kara Ushkana Ekera Aira Hanuna nena kera keke su sa tana karata kuka ena umununanta aisarara su 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 rasuna kera ishi aina kara keke na kara kuku 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 shu sa ta Krystal ke na ke kara satena ke atatara satena ke ayaya. Sukunateate. Sunateate. Fully clearing, dissolving, removing any remaining karmic loads, miasma, artificial materials, structures, architecture, materials, nanobots, nanotech, graphene, black goo, fully from our fields now. Sukara sena se sha sha kara sa ena ke. Aena kara susuna ena ya. Una aena. Era suna ne. Kera suna ne. Ko tatarane. Ke suna ne. Te yena te na ye. Tu senanane. Te kekarare. Te ne na. Fully igniting our diamond sun body. Fully connecting to the God worlds as we merge heaven on earth, igniting our new Eden and our paradise from within, our ancient memories from within our DNA, cellular memories, and the crystalline core and the crystalline caverns of earth fully now. From within our own bodies, from within our own fields, fully igniting now. Kushuna tarasa kekena ekarate kena kera sanata nana nate kena kera satara natera nasu shukarena ya ketanata te kurare kena nae nasu nata. Fully dissolving any remaining doubts, worries, insecurities, fears, fully now from the one consciousness, timelessly so. Esarate kenatata ushunatena ke enatarana sate enayena kokonate. Fully dissolving the false matrix architecture and simulation from our field and a collective field consciousness now. Henasane heruna kerane nenase nenayu nanane kerana terena sena nanana keraye kenane nenasu nunate nenasha nanana nenaye kurena kerante ke yunasinate ke yunate na yana nane kuku. Fully connecting with our hearts, fully igniting the permanent God seed atom and the Amoria flame within our heart center, fully igniting our monadic activations, galactivations, the full merging of our multidimensional selves, of our soul, oversoul, avatar, Rishi, and one pure true God source consciousness. Remembering our true nature, original innocence, true history records, true memories, our true, unique, authentic self, igniting our own unique divine blueprint. Now, Tuye era te tene kara kure te tanata. Purify, clear, heal, upgrade, activate every cell, every atom, every atomic and subatomic particle and wave and all the spaces in between, right down to the mitochondria. Clearing, upgrading, activating our whole field to the highest divine blueprints. Now, Sunatere Kane Kanu Nane Uta. Fully activating all of our gifts and abilities along with our DNA, the film strip, to our realities of new Ascension Earth, the new organic creatrix field from within, through our sacred crystal hearts fully opening, fully igniting our crystalline structures throughout our bodies, throughout our fields, throughout our cells, igniting our ancient future memories. Kura shanatara satara sanena kera yena kera sena kera 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 su 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 shukina kera kera ena yena kera su 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 na 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 te kera kusuna. Igniting our gifts and abilities of teleportation, bilocation, levitation, multiple location, healing, manifestation, telekinesis, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairaudience, fully igniting our one true diamond avatar self throughout the field. Sunate, kekara ekanayo. Kushunatara satara sate. Kena kerate. Esunate aye. Kena kera ikenare. As we call back to ourselves all remaining body parts, soul pieces, soul fragments, soul aspects, all of our multidimensional selves, fully unified and healed now, along with the cosmic monad, the tribal shield, our realities, the one consciousness, fully reconciled, fully unified and at peace as one, for so it is done. Tuna keaye, enayinane, sunanane nayu naye nase, ekenanane. Dare una naye. As we fully merge with the consciousness and the embodiment of our already ascended diamond avatar self, fully quantum leaping and merging with new Ascension Earth and the new organic creatrix field now, the only reality and truth there really is. Usunate ke nanane tunana ina ke anena suna ina 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 na tunshina ina ye keru nae kusuna se na ke. Fully igniting our crystalline diamond rose and emerald heart, fully igniting our divine blueprints, connecting throughout the cosmos as one heart, one mind, one body, soul, logos, our full remembrance. Now, remembering and knowing ourselves as one with Source and all of life everywhere, unifying and healing all. Te kanase, shunateake, te naye 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 naye, sune taya ayun. Fully balancing, harmonizing, upgrading our whole fields. Returning and clearing any remaining density, lower frequencies, energies, entities back to source fully now. Fully clearing our fields. Back to our original divine human blueprint, divine angelic human blueprint, the new cosmic blueprint of the Krystal Saphira, the Albion Lightbody. Now, Sekarase, Shunata, Anayenake, Taya, Tane, Ya, Taya, activate neuroplasticity, activating the neural pathways of light in our brain to the highest degree allowed, and that within the planetary brain, fully connecting the planetary brain and the planetary heart as one, balancing, unifying, merging as one our right and left brain hemispheres, pineal and pituitary gland, heart and mind, masculine and feminine, higher and lower self, heaven on earth, matter and antimatter, in the timeless now and the still point of the 0 point field of pure true divine love, fully collapsing the quantum standing wave function of the artificial realities. Now, Sushukara ikarata, kekanasa, kuyana kerasa terasata, as we fully awaken from within a dream, from the forgetfulness and our deep slumber, fully awakening to new Ascension Earth, the new organic divine creatrix field, from within our hearts, from within our minds, that then gets projected out as our new Eden and our new paradise, now igniting from within our DNA. Usunaye, ka nanaye nasunate, ka eaya, shukuraye, akurate na asukutata natayaye. Kukukakarasa sasasakat, ishana keke, tu kuna kenake ainatara. So na eke su ta ketuna tete asana sutanata. See your multidimensional DNA igniting from within your cellular memories, beautiful pastel, iridescent rainbow colors, plasma, liquid light, igniting our crystalline DNA, our ancient future memories, and our one true self. Kunatara asanataraka, kukunateake, kekinatera sukuna shatara satara 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 sataka kakaratu. Fully letting go of the past, all that was, all the memories, fully anchored in the here and now, fully anchored in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, where all becomes available and accessible in no time whatsoever. Sunakarate, Keshanata, Kasatara Tatena Kayaya, Tatayana Kenatetena, Sistayana Tera Tetenaya, Sara Sunatekenaye, Kasayana Kera Shukukuku Ainaka Aina Sa Aeru Kukuku Aira, Kanata Tataraya. Fully igniting our Merkaba to its corrected spin rate, velocity, sacred geometry, highest divine blueprints now. Kuna kara se kena tera ke kena kera kakara sunatukuna shekena teake. Fully igniting the new cosmic rod and staff codes. Sunateake, kena sea tukuna teake, ina kera sukuna teake. Fully igniting our sacred crystal hearts, opening wide, ready for the supernova of the heart event, unifying all as one, fully igniting all new worlds and heaven on earth from within us now. Sukaraye, Tashana Tatata, Sa Dayana Takarata. It is done, it is done, it is done. So it is. Come fully back into your body, fully back into the here and now, fully anchored, fully present in quantum no time whatsoever. Your eternal self that has never been born and that never dies, fully remembers, fully activated, igniting now. It is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. That was, I would say, a very activating multidimensional DNA activation, if I might say so myself, and activating our new realities and getting rid of any remaining doubts, fears, worries, and false evidence appearing real fully now. Supernova of the Heart event is here. I post this later underneath in the description box again. I always leave an MP3 link. Now, if they do help you, the activations, and you can support me back, I do appreciate activations. Activations, yes, and donations. Again, the details are below because, again, most of what I've been, basically all of what I've been providing was on donation over the last year and a bit. And I very much appreciate your support back. Also like, share, subscribe, comment. It's really nice to know that what I do is also appreciated, okay? Because there needs to be a definitely reciprocity, and it all being based on give and take going forward is a big theme. So another way also to support me is I have a couple of links below where you can access a couple of, like, one call and an activation and another separate activation, as I mentioned earlier. Below, you can check them out. It's also a nice way to support me, and where you then also get an extra activation, so to say, if this kind of stuff does help you and you like it. Now, let us activate, integrate a little bit over the next couple of days, especially. Drink water, rest. Obviously, there's a special energy in the air as we're welcoming 2023, although we don't do time. These are numbers. It's a 7 number, my favorite number. So that's definitely a very heavenly number. And it's all about our accessing also now the 7 cosmic suns, the 7 higher heavens. 7 is a very spiritual number. And again, ultimately, all of this is within you. Okay, so however complicated you want to make this, I really believe in the end part, you just let go of everything you think you know, and you let your heart and source guide you. That's you merging with source, because you're no longer relying on outside 3D kind of, sources to tell you what is truth and what is not. You can really only feel truth, I believe, from my experience. And then the mind agrees. Again, we're bringing this all into agreement, into oneness, yeah? Because the problem has been a disagreement between the mind and the heart. But the mind has constantly been gaslighting the heart, telling it was stupid or crazy. And that it's, causing us the pain, where it's been the opposite way around, so to say. Yeah, but again, it's all one. So it's not one against the other at all. That's what we're getting rid of. So we're transcending all this nonsense, all the separation, and it's all happening from the inside out, okay? Because all of our realities are being projected out. It really is that way. Quantum physics will tell you as much. I believe Ascension mechanics basically also tells us that much. So I believe let us focus on the basics, on the simplicity, because the natural laws or the core laws in the universe, they do remain the same, and they are very simple though. All right. And then from there, yes, we can make it all more complex and complicated, which is ultimately is. But this is like your intuition will tell you things that your mind can only try and comprehend. Like your intuition doesn't owe you an explanation. Like the things the same with the pole shift. Although then later on, it's like I'm asking, I'm making sure, is this really the highest guidance, highest truth? And, because I don't want to give wrong information. I'm not here to lead anyone, into some fantasy land. Although, yes, this is all imagined. So yes, we are going to paradise, which is a kind of fantasy land, because all of this is imagined. So it's both ends. But you get me. I'm not accessing this from an ego mind or some AI source or some other entity, okay? This is source consciousness information that I'm accessing. I wouldn't say what I say and be so passionate about it if I wouldn't believing in it. And us believing in it is exactly what's necessary. Being totally convinced and convicted and confident of our truths is exactly what ignites it. So we need to be that confident. And if anybody thinks that's like arrogance, then they're just not standing in their own true power of knowing that they are this powerful. And once you know nothing lies outside of you, because also once you've unified with source and have transcended your false ego self, which is creating all of this freaking suffering, you're free. And nothing lies outside of you, because the whole universe is you. And then everything conspires for you. And ultimately it always has. It's just our fragmented, compartmentalized mind that, kind of sees things as good and bad. But ultimately, also the bad things have, again, made us exactly the person we are today, especially the most challenging parts. So again, everything is ultimately happening for us because we're constantly co-creating it. So nothing lies outside of us. And that's exactly the mindset we need, because we need to take full responsibility and accountability for our realities, to be the leadership, to be the guardians, to take over from the assholes. Who else is going to do it? I wouldn't vote Trump or Musk in to do that for us. So, but you need to believe in yourself. So confidence is absolutely key. And as the ones who are here, who are also energetically holding these blueprints, remember now what they're here for. We are stepping in full confidence, fully up. This is what ignites the whole field. It's our confidence. It's us believing in ourselves, believing in what we're getting. That's how more comes online. If you're constantly looking outside for truth, you can't ignite your inner truth. Like one of the best things, when I found out I was connected to like a bad spiritual leader, which caused a lot of trouble in my life. And when I first tuned in that there was a lot of interference going on and that it wasn't all, sunshine and rainbows, I just totally checked out of social media for 2 weeks and just cleared my field, because I literally always had a voice in my head and it wasn't a good way. It wasn't in a good way. Yeah, so that's one way of you just zoning out any outside interference and information that actually connects you to your truth and your soul. If you're constantly filling yourself with outside information, it's just learned information. It's like, that's just knowledge. True wisdom is learned. It's through experience. It's the only way we can figure anything out. What I share is all based on experience. Yes, I've picked up some things, obviously learned, to trigger my own remembering. And I, also share. But I always take it further, I always expand, and I don't get stuck in it. I'm always happy to be proven wrong or for that truth to change or expand. Ultimately, it's an expansion, because the truths, they kind of stay the same. They're just kind of lower truths. And then you get to higher truths. And the lower truths are merged within that higher truth. That's your multidimensionality fully coming online, knowing and integrating all these different viewpoints, perceptions, and truths as one. And then you can choose the highest in every now moment, which only happens when you're connected to source and not because there is no middleman who's going to connect you to source. No one's speaking here. And I'm really just reminding you, I'm not teaching either. I'm just sharing my experiences and what I'm getting. And I know this activates you, and I know it does help people. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. And I love doing it. And ultimately, it doesn't work. And that's where we're all going. But we need to remember what we're here to bring, the gifts and abilities, what brings us joy, that also helps other people. And that's, people happy. Just imagine a world full of people actually doing what they love. Oh my God. That's what we're accessing, okay? But that only happens when you know your true self, have integrated shadow and light, all of your good and your bad and everything. And that's how you access your true self, which is forever expanding. Yeah, so there's one true self, and then you obviously have your unique self, and that's still always expanding. And what we're also doing is the thing, as you're merging all of your multidimensional aspects, as one, it's basically you're sorting through all these aspects. So these templates within your blueprint from all these different aspects, multidimensional aspects of you, and what do you keep and what do you, kind of clear? What do we not need? Yeah, which is part of the digressed DNA that we are clearing through all the clearings we are going through. So it's the digressed consciousness, aka DNA, aka junk DNA. So as you're fully clearing that and shifts to the higher God consciousness, which ultimately can happen in any now moment. When I had my awakening from one now moment to the next, you're wide open. And I see this happening literally for the collective, just in a more grounded manner, because we are holding the field as one and we are fully anchored in our higher multidimensionality. But they will also be going through a process like we, in the future, but much easier, much quicker, without all the interference and nonsense. That's what I'm seeing. So that's what we came here for. That's also why the forerunners, we're literally the blueprint holders. We're literally making up the blueprints as we're going along, as we're keeping the parts of the consciousness that are relevant and clearing those parts that are not. So that's the DNA. We're literally creating the DNA blueprints within our own field, in our own consciousness. Those that have these roles, to play, and are doing this very consciously. But again, we're all doing this to a certain degree because you're doing this to your own template as well, always. Yeah, so in your own consciousness, again, everybody is still very unique. That's why you also don't have one level or idea of perfection, ultimately. We all like different things, what I might think perfect, or to do it in this way, another would do it in a different way, for example. So, and the biggest part is, at the moment, accessing our abundance. The divine feminine reclaims her full worth and power, which is also completing the pole shift. Again, the shift between masculine and feminine energies back to their original state, or the new higher state, which is both ends. So you're both masculine and feminine, but you still have more masculine or more feminine. So also the new masculine, when I say it's no more these old macho, 3D blueprints, obviously it's not a feminized version of the masculine either. Even if you have a little bit more magnetic or feminine energy, or, you need to come from the heart, basically. But it's not as if, we're feminizing the man either. I think we've been there, and that didn't work. So, but you get me. But it's still, they come from a heart-based, authentic, loving, vulnerable place, instead of the masks that I had on and the tough, guy exterior that I had to put on or learned, and pushing down and suppressing their emotion and not being in unison and unified with their emotional body, like especially the guys. And again, we all had this in our fields, because there's been a split between the masculine and feminine, obviously, bodies, but also the mental and emotional bodies. So there have been more on their mental bodies, women often more on their emotional bodies, and we are, again, integrating those opposites. And then you have both energies within your field. So in the future, we don't ultimately need a man or a woman to kind of feel balanced in our lives, but we are just going to amplify our fullness of that we already are. Because again, coming together in divine union is your power tripled, because you're together in union with source. So especially those highly coded twin flame couples, as they ignite fully their blueprints right now happening, what was I getting at that with that? But it ignites new earth. But I was getting somewhere else with that, and I can't remember now. Anyway, gone. Happens. So yeah, 12:22, not anymore here. I'm gonna finish off now as well. I know I've spoke a lot, but I just wanted to go also through all these notes, and I know it's always good for something. And again, as you're listening, also it really helps you clear, heal, balance, harmonize, and upgrade your whole morphogenetic field. All right. So let's rise as one in love, and it's already happening. And this whole union is really clearing out all the artificialness, because the artificialness equals the separation, the fragmented consciousness, and it's all, again, already healed, and the foreigners can feel it in their own field. And that's, again, it doesn't even matter what anyone says. What are you feeling in your own body, And I know from what I've seen, feedback and comments, that people are feeling the shifts, and they're feeling more balanced, and they can feel the good the new realities are here because all the false thought forms, all these limiting fear-based thought forms and beliefs are fully clearing, and with it also those realities, okay? Because there's now no more doubt, no more fear, no more worries, no more recreating these stupid timelines, because that's what it is. If you're in fear of anything happening, you're helping co-create that timeline. It's really that simple. Okay, so if you're against something, fighting or afraid of it, you keep feeding it, okay? If you're focusing on it, whether it's positive or negative, you're feeding and you're helping it co-create. So that's a very core truth, and that remains the same. So just be careful what you focus on. I'd say let go of the fear because it's not real. It's imaginary, just like the false matrix, okay? So time to let it go. It's an illusion. Remember, it's not real. We're now remembering as one because, again, we're all reminding each other here, me, myself, one another. We are here to remind each other to stay in a higher consciousness if we see anyone drop, and we do the same with ourselves, okay? Because we're all interconnected, and when we all fell together as one, and we're all rising together as one. So this is beyond, because the end of debt forgiveness is fully seeing we've created that all of as one. There is a very high divine order behind all this. So we co-create a divine organic creatrix field, fully letting go of any yugas, any time cycles, any ascension cycles. It's fully done. This whole experience in the false artificial matrix hologram is fully done and dusted. There's nothing here for us anymore. The experience in polarity consciousness has been completed. The cosmic monad has been unified and healed. The tribal shield as well. And any moment now, this goes fully online. That's what I'm seeing. And so it is done. So it was written, and so it is done. For so it is. All right, I think that's it. Give up on your false ego self. It's a fictional character, and be free and happy. It really is like that. But obviously it takes a lot to get there. All right, but we're here now. Full collective ego death. Let it die. Let it go. Okay. This is the end of the world as we know it, but it's basically the end of the illusionary world. Okay. And the real world is there. Just beyond it, feel into it, ignite it, tune into it. I also have on my SoundCloud a New Earth Now activation. That's also going to be good for this. And again, it's very much about our DNA activating, which this activation also helped a lot about. And I hope you liked it. Again, links are underneath in the comment box. Thank you so much for all your help. Thank you for being here. Thank you for holding your frequency, holding the vision with me. Thank you for all your support, you amazing people. Feel the love, be the love, and let it heal all. Let us show them what's possible with the infinite power of pure, true, divine love. Okay? All the cynics are going to be turned into living gods, remembering that they are God source incarnate. Because we all are that. We are all the Christ, okay? The one tribe reunited again, okay? Cosmic reunion of the one consciousness. There's only one of us here. Remember, okay? So much love, so much gratitude, so many blessings, and thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste from my heart and soul to yours. Okay, goodbye.